welcome to the first, I guess, like official edition of Table Talks. Ked and I have done this before, and I'll probably end up throwing that recording up eventually. I don't know why I haven't. But the new Unearthed Arcana just released. It's expert classes. There's a lot of information to go over. And so we decided that we're just gonna chill together and just pick it apart.
Yeah, we hate it, and we're going to be really aggressive and just super salty about it, just balding.
I don't like change.
By the end of this, I'm just going to be shaking my monitor and just unhinged.
Yeah. No, I think we've all skimmed a little bit, but we haven't done like a deep dive into the book yet, so it's
Not really.
mostly fresh for us.
Yeah.
There's 37 fucking pages, so there's going to be a lot to go through. But we're all just gonna sit here and chill and shoot the shit and discuss this this beast that wizard just put in front of us.
Now the disclaimer for everyone that doesn't know what the fuck's going on, which would be a little weird if you're in the genre, but like shit's changing. Like even shit from the previous playtest from a few weeks ago till now, they've already dramatically changed the ideas for some of the stuff. Like they're not expecting this to come out until like 2024 at the earliest. So for anyone who remembers the 5th edition playtest when it was called D&D Next, like things changed dramatically. So we'll see.
And BHG, I know you're like a little newer, but Ked, you've been through a lot of editions, and this is the first time that I'm going through an edition change, so it's very like fresh and new for me. I feel like I just started playing D&D 5e, and then they're like, we're changing everything. And
well, this is the most informed edition change we've ever had.
I think before that, I mean, the biggest change would have been 3.5, right? 3.5.3.
Well, I mean, from 2nd edition to 3.5 was a complete restructure in how the baseline of it works. I'd say that was the largest change in D&D history. It went from chaos to kind of organized.
Yeah. So we've all got the UA up in front of us, and I think we've got the D&D Beyond up on the side for comparison as well.
I do, yep.
So the first couple of the things that we're going to experience in here or read in here are expert classes. 3 classes appear in each document, or in this document, each one a member of the expert group, the bard, the ranger, and the rogue. So they're going to be splitting classes almost into their own groupings for what they kind of do, like in the party. Feats, we're getting more feats. Spell lists, arcane, divine, and primal. The ranger uses the primal list. The bard potentially uses all 3 thanks to magical secrets, which is, I mean, par for the course with the bard. And a rules glossary, because we love those.
What does a D6 mean?
See, what does a D6 mean?
What does a D6 mean? I need to know.
Never heard of that.
Thank you, rules glossary.
Well, like it says here, like primal and arcane and divine are underlined, and I'm not sure what any of those mean. So
yeah, so we're gonna get into that. So down here on page 2, we've got parts of a class. Each class contains the rules elements described below. Characters who have levels in a class are exceptional. Most of the inhabitants of multiverses aren't members of a class.
okay.
So, I mean, the same basic stuff. Primary ability of a class is critical to some of the class features, so when you create a character, make sure to place your skills properly. Or your scores.
So, I mean, that's just baseline, like, put your stats in the right place, and then a footnote of, like, you need your 13 in order to multi-class in and out of something, which is exactly the same.
Yeah, nothing's changing there. This is where we're seeing our first change, though. So this is our class groupings. We've got experts, mages, priests, and warriors. Experts are polymaths who have the expertise feature and elements of other classes. Mages are adepts of arcane magic, focusing on utility and destruction. Priests are stewards of divine or primal magic, focusing on healing, utility, and defense. And warriors are masters of combat who can deal and endure many wounds. And of course, the artificer gets a mention as an expert, but is still the red-headed stepchild.
Yeah.
Of D&D.
Now, here's one of the things I'm like. I like that they're trying to group it to make it easier for new people getting into it stuff. But some of the classes to me they don't really fully fit. Like a paladin to me almost fits more in the warrior category than the priest category. I know they've got some holy spells and stuff, but they're primarily like a fighty martial class.
I would agree, except for, like, I mean, yes and no, because it really depends on your subclass that you choose as well, right?
Well, that's true for every class, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, a rogue with the Eldritch, like, to whatever it is, the caster type could be considered sort of a mage at that point as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I peeped out the ONE-DND video that they talked with the game designer, he said that the point of splitting these classes like this was so you could homebrew, like they used Artificer as an example. So you could take Artificer, give him one of these archetypes, and then he would get everything in that kit. So they're going to divide feats and abilities and whatnot by these lists. Okay. So you can kind of input homebrew easier, is the vibe I got from it.
I can kind of see it.
Especially with the direction they've been going with their books lately, like, you fill in the rest.
Yeah, you do the work, and try to have a skeleton for you to be able to play with and just input things in and be like, I want to make this homebrew thing, and just say it's going to be a warrior or a priest or whatever. But I think
$20, please.
I am torn on that design philosophy. It's like, okay, I like the fact that they're giving us some toys and letting us customize it, but at the same time, they're sometimes giving us too bare bone of a structure and some stuff. And then just like charging massive amounts of money for it.
And I honestly think what you guys said just a second ago about the paladin is just a really good point of why this might not be a great idea, because it does pigeonhole. Like the thing that even there are prerequisites for feats, but even that I think is kind of like bountiful luck for halflings makes sense because you need to have the luck feat, but that should be the prerequisite for just that feat. So I would prefer to see a system where there's just feats, and whatever class you are, you can take whatever feat because customization.
Like the way it is now.
Yeah, like the way it is now.
It works for a lot of the characters with these categories. I just think for the paladin and things like it says it focuses on healing, utility, and defense. But a paladin, I mean, righteous justice, like smiting the evil, doesn't really scream healing, utility, and defense for me. I mean, they can be pretty defensive, but it just feels weird. But at the same time, I think these are more flavor categories than anything, so it's not a big deal.
Well, the thing is, they're going to be reworking feats, and I think that they're planning, or the pitch is that they're going to be tying feats to these classes. Mm-hmm. So the druid, cleric, and paladin would be picking from the same pool of whatever it may be, feats or options or whatever you want to say.
I honestly think that they're doing that because they feel like they need to try and rework everything. Mm-hmm. Like, feats as they exist now don't really need to change. Like, I like that feats are open to everyone so that people can make weird builds. Like, they shouldn't be constrained to just a small pool.
I don't think you're going to like the way feats are going to start going then.
No. Well, I mean,
we'll get to that when we get to the feats section. Yeah. We'll see. I as a player of previous editions, I am reluctant and scared of what's going to happen with feats, because feat chains and massive prerequisites are what killed 3rd edition and 1st edition Pathfinder. To me, it ruined the game. So, yeah, we'll see.
At the end of the day, they're trying to make ONE-DND like a supplement where you have an alternative set of rules. Like, I'll still use just the old 5th edition rules if I don't like what they do with it.
Yeah. And the thing, too, about this is, like Ked said, it's all playtesting. They're not going to put this out till, 2024. So, these discussions and kind of thinking about it. And honestly, maybe we should even throw something together and playtest this stuff at some point.
I was thinking that too. Like
Yeah.
do like a one shot using these ONE-DND rules and see what we like and don't like.
We'd have to be very open-minded since they seem to be changing things every couple of weeks. So we'd have to be like, all right, overhaul.
Yeah.
Yep.
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
Could be fun.
Maybe we could adapt a version of Dungeon Slug that's using these rules specifically.
We could figure something. I wish I could update my Foundry to version 10 so that we could like just get it streamlined to put everything in, but I can't yet.
Buy a month of Forge and update that to 10 and see what happens, because then that doesn't mess with your base Foundry.
Well, I can, if I'm smart and actually like go-getter, I can install a second version of Foundry with a different version number on it. I'm just lazy, so I have to check it.
Yeah.
A note about subclasses here that I was seeing, because it does note a bit of differences. Here are 3 highlights in this article's classes. All 3 classes have new features as well as revised versions of old features. When a class offers a decision, a suggested choice is usually presented, especially at lower levels. This makes it easier to create characters quickly. Each class's old 20th level feature has been moved to 18th level, opening up 20th level for epic boons, which we're going to learn about.
I like not knowing much about epic boons yet or anything. The fact that they're shifting those capstone abilities to 18, I think is a good thing, because earlier the level, the better. How often do you see a campaign get to that 20th level mark?
Yep.
So by giving them the toys earlier and then like the blanket epic boons thing later, I think that's just a good decision.
It's a great idea. Ked, give us your lovely voice and give us the overview of the Bard.
The Bard. So expert, primary ability, charisma. Nothing's changed there. I don't think we really need the flavor text. We've got enough shit to read here. Everyone knows what a Bard is. You play music. You go blah, blah. You seduce everything that's not a door. Maybe you do the door. I don't know. Let's go through the actual like creating. I'm going to skip the chart for now. Let's go through the creating bit here. So consult the following lists. Standard stuff at starting. So hit points still D8s. That doesn't look like it's changed it much. Saving throws, I believe, is exactly the same. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, dexterity and charisma. Skills. So they give you, it looks like they give you example skills or any 3 of your choice. So just like BHG was saying earlier, they'll give you examples first, but it's still the Bard of any 3 of your choice, which is Barnaby. Here's where I'm seeing the first change, though. Weapons. They've lost some weapons.
Yeah, because it used to be simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, and short swords.
Now it's just simple weapons. I'm assuming...
Unless they're defining those individual weapons as simple weapons.
I don't see like long swords and rapier. I feel like it's gonna be more dependent on your subclass. Like once they implement like swords bard and stuff like that. Okay. I think they want the bard. I think they're trying to push the bard into more of the supportive category. So I feel like that's why they kind of got rid of some of those weapons. But yeah, they only got the simple stuff now.
And well, short sword is a simple weapon, though, right?
Is it?
You know.
Oh yeah.
Because they had it listed on Bard before, but it wasn't necessary because short sword and rapier are like, I think short sword's a simple weapon, rapier's not.
No. So they lost hand crossbows, long swords, and rapiers.
Yeah.
You know, honestly, I really like that because the most OP thing a bard can have is a hand crossbow. Just ends campaigns right there.
Well, unless they've changed things, one of the most OP weapons in the game is a hand crossbow. Yeah. Armor looks to be the same. Starting equipment. So here's an interesting thing. So you can choose the starting equipment they have listed here, which is different than what it was, partly because of the weapon differences and stuff, or just like a stock 100 gold. It's not like rolled like before, random and different for each class. I haven't looked at the other classes, but something tells me this is going to be a stock 100 gold for everybody. I'm going to say now, probably.
So you just show up buck naked, but you got some money in your pocket?
Yeah. Well, nice. It says 100 gold. You can spend 100 gold on equipment, so you can like basically just customize your equipment. It's like in the current rules, you can do that too, but it's a random amount of money that you get, and it's like different for each class. So yeah, I think just like a stock 100 gold.
Which, I mean, that's not bad.
No.
You usually set up some shopping pretty early on anyway. People can go and get their own equipment how they like it.
And it seems also like this is kind of reflective of the skills and like the recommendation. Like we recommend that you start with these items, but you can start with whatever you want.
Yeah.
So they're trying to give like a little bit of both, like a little bit of that mentality of just you guys do it, just you do it, and also we'll do it too if you want us to.
So it doesn't change that much from what we have because you can customize your equipment right now. But the fact that it's a standardized amount of gold and you might not like roll minimum and be fucked. It's like, that's good. I like that. I like baselining everything. Randomness is fun sometimes. Like sometimes I still love rolling my ability scores, but for certain campaigns, especially if it's maybe a bit more cutthroat or something, I kind of like having a standard array or point buy because sometimes you don't want that luck. You want to you got to tactics it depending on the type of game. So ability score 13 to multi-class. Yeah. Proficiencies. That's more about the multi-classing. So that's what you get if you multi-class. One skill of your choice, one musical instrument of your choice. I think that's pretty much online with what we already get with multi-classing. Aside from class features, you don't get much in the way of proficiencies. You get light armor training, which is the same, and then the spell slots. And then, it looks like we get into the actual class features. Do you want me to keep going leading on the bard bit?
Yeah.
All right. As a bard, so we get the following class features. So bardic inspiration, here's the big one. Here's the big thing for bard. So it still starts out as a d6, and you can use it in following ways. So I have perused this already. This is a big change, and I actually like this change. So when another creature within 60 feet of you, this part I don't like, that you can see or hear, fails a d20 test. I don't understand that bit. Shouldn't they be able to hear you, not the other way around? You can use your reaction to give the creature a bardic inspiration die, and then the creature immediately rolls that die and adds the number rolled to the d20, potentially turning it into a failure into a success. I don't understand why you have to hear them if you're inspiring them. That's the one bit I don't get.
I think the assumption is that if you can see and hear them, they can see and hear you.
But that's a bad assumption. What if they're deafened or something?
Yeah. By these rules specifically, it says like you could bardically inspire a deafened person, but
maybe
you couldn't.
Maybe that's why they did it that way, because they want to ensure that it's magical.
Yeah.
Sure, they're deafened by magic, but you're also using magic to give them that inspiration. So maybe that's why it's you see or hear them.
But I can't do it if I can't see or hear. So.
Okay, yeah. It is see or hear. It still seems
see or hear.
Around the corner and you can't see them as long as you can hear them.
It still seems like a weird wording for the see or hear, and then I don't know. It's not terrible. It just seemed like a weird wording. I think they might have to refine that a bit. It just
also, like, it is kind of balancing, but also kind of screwing the bardic inspiration because, like, say you're about to go into a social situation, so you give everybody bardic inspiration, and there's a lot of situations where the bard just gives away all of their bardic inspiration at once, and then 5 people all have bardic and they all use it in one round of combat. But with this that can no longer happen, and
but here's
that's kind of
shitty. Think of Friday game. Your bard gave bardic inspiration and to like Wes's character, I think it was Wes's character, and he basically kept forgetting to use it. And how often has that happened to you, where you've given inspiration and you need to constantly remind them, hey, you've got inspiration? Like, how often do people forget that shit exists?
Yeah, it's true. It definitely would negate that. I do, as a bard, you have to hound people. You have to, like, every time, like, even Wes is like, oh yeah, I missed. And I'm like, you have bardic. do the thing, man. And
this is sort of like force feeding them that inspiration, like, you're using it.
This would get rid of that, but this also costs my reaction.
It does have costs, yeah.
you know, it seems like it is definitely a little bit of a nerf to what Bardic is currently.
The fact that you can't spread it around is
Here's my
a
question
thing.
for you in that regard, though. What are you using your reaction for as a bard instead of that?
Silvery barbs.
This frees up a bonus or when you use your bardic art normally, is it an action or a bonus action?
Bonus.
On your turn? Bonus?
Yeah.
So this is a freeing up a bonus action to do something else, whether it be using another spell or in our games using a potion or something like that on yourself, and still being able to use your reaction. For me, I can think there's a couple of spells maybe possibly you use with your reaction, like counter spell, if you have it.
Honest.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, honestly, is playing a bard in current 5th edition, on any of the bards I've played, I found bonus action economy to be slim to none. As a bard, you really don't get much as your bonus action besides bardic. So much to the point I gave my, like, Plat in my Monday game, he's playing a bard, I gave him an item that lets him cast Vicious Mockery 3 times a day as a bonus action, because I feel like the higher level you get, the less you cast Vicious Mockery, and the less you have to do with your bonus action, so...
It's based, but that's based on the spells you take, because for me, the first thing I think of is the bonus action is a Misty Step to get away.
I'm going to lean with Adam on this one a little bit. Like, Misty Step is important, but you don't tend to use it that often, whereas I do see reactions being used a little more often for heavy hitting, like game-changing shit. Like a counterspell or a Silvery Barbs can turn the tide of a battle.
Yeah, like I would much rather use a Silvery Barbs as my reaction over a Bardic Inspiration as my action.
But if
as my
you're
reaction.
Spell slots, then you could still use your Bardic Inspirations as reactions once those are done.
100%, and that's cool, but the Bardic Inspiration is a pretty big feature, and I feel like it being a bonus action is like the Bard's main bonus action. You know what I mean? You usually cast a spell, you give a Bardic, you end your turn.
Now, there is the extra benefit if we move on to the next section here, because now you can, looks like you can heal with it. So you can use your Bardic Inspirations within 60 feet to use your reaction, so just like the other section of it, but you're using your Bardic Inspiration die, and is it just the die? Looks like no bonus. To restore a number of hit points equal to the number rolled. So you have a built-in heal that doesn't consume spell slots as a reaction. That boosts it significantly.
That does boost it significantly, and that can be like super clutch in a lot of situations. And these two things being separate now adds a lot to the Bard's reaction economy. Like, the Bard has to pay attention to all of combat now because they got to pick their moment to use their reaction, and that I do really like.
And here's one of the things I really like. Getting technical on the rules here for a moment. In the stack of order of operations, the reaction happens before the thing you're reacting to. So if someone is about to die, you can react before they die to heal them.
Wow.
So that is a clutch maneuver. That's a big boost in my opinion, because a reaction happens before it. So someone just crits, does like 57 damage to this level 1 character, which would insta-slain them, but maybe that healing you gave them was enough to bring them up. We'd have to discuss exactly how that works, but reaction happens before everything, so I don't know.
It's interesting.
We'd have to look into that further, but I could see that saving the day on an individual character. So in this case, putting the heal in, now that I'm looking at that, the reaction bit is a little bit nicer than the bonus action just because of that heal.
100%.
That heal is nice, but like I said, just as far as Bard's action economy goes, you do not really use your bonus action, but the way that this stuff seems more written, it seems more like they might even introduce multiple actions at some point. Like, they might do away with bonus actions. I'm not sure, but
I don't think they would. And again, like, it's just an encouragement to build your character differently. You know that your abilities are now reactions, so that opens you up to look at your options for what you can take for bonus actions. And for bards, the sky's kind of the limit. They can take from any spell list. So you can
Yeah.
make for some really interesting bonus reactions and plan out, maybe a certain, depending on the kind of bard you're playing, you can really adapt that.
I'm torn on a few things as we go through these. I'll say myself, but it does feel like they have, at least for the Bard's core kit, not including the subclasses, they are pushing it a little bit harder into you're a support / healer, and you have less abilities to be martial or do other things like that as far as their core kit is concerned. Getting rid of those weapons, having built-in heals. You're kind of being pushed into that. You are a support. Deal with it. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. They're getting some nice toys, but at the same time,
Well, I'm kind of big on that. Like, your class should be your class. Like, if you're playing a bard, you should be a support kind of character. Like,
I do kind
like,
of
of course, you can switch up the builds and combine things to make wacky extra builds, but their primary focus should be what they're good at. That's kind of the point of playing your role in a role-playing game.
I do actually agree with that, because that's the reason I would play D&D over some other systems sometimes is like Cypher. Obviously, we talked about, like, that's one of my favorite games, where there's no set classes per se. You can mix and match and take things and cobble it together, and everything works well. But you don't have set roles or anything. One of the hallmarks and classics of D&D is the fact that you have these familiar archetypes to fall into. So I agree that having defined classes is one of the strengths of the system. You know what you're getting. And then it looks like, so number of uses and in higher levels for increasing the dice, that's pretty much the same. You regain it on a long rest, and then later on in the class, I'm sure you get it on a short rest. The dice, I believe, go up at the same thing. Let's see here. Bardic Inspiration. So 8 and 5th, 10 and 10th, 12 and 15th. Yeah, so that's exactly the same.
Yeah, the same.
So spellcasting, I like this and I hate this at the same time, because it makes me worried of what's going to happen to wizards, but we'll see when wizards come out in the spellcasting one. However, for these, there's some big changes in the ways spells seem to be working for everybody. We'll get into this. So prepared spells. So it gives examples. You have the following spells prepared, which you can just completely ignore because Wizards is going to choose shitty shit half the time anyways. This isn't too bad, but it's circumstantial.
Come on. Color Spray is a great spell.
I mean, like, Disguise Self by itself is okay, but it's very circumstantial. If you know you're going into a dungeon. But this is where we get into, like, this awesome bit. So you prepare 2 0-level spells and 2 1st-level spells. And I noticed they're calling them 0 levels sometimes, and not cantrips. And sometimes they're calling them cantrips. I think there's going to be reasons for this. So it must be from the arcane list. But first of all, one big change. You can only cast spells from the divination, enchantment, illusion, or transmutation schools by default. That's it. So that's interesting. They are definitely sort of guiding which direction the bard should go, and I don't entirely disagree. But one of the major things is when you finish a long rest, and I'm seeing this with I sort of perused in the Ranger a little bit too. It's the same thing. Basically, everyone gets the ability now that I've seen, as like what the Divine Casters did, where you can just like swap out your spells. Like, it looks like they don't want people to feel locked into their spell choices. They can just swap it out to be what's comfortable for them that day, which is not a bad thing.
That's super, super interesting. I really like that. The only thing I'm kind of questioning at this point, and I guess we'll see when the other classes come out, is how would like sorcerers work with that? Because the kind of main difference between sorcerers and wizards right now is sorcerers get meta magic and you pick your spells and you have them forever, and wizards, you learn spells and prepare them.
This could also be a huge nerf to wizards as well. If everybody has access to their entire class list, One of the major benefits of wizards was the fact that you could amass more spells than other people with your spell book. What is the point of that now? So we're going to have to see when the spellcasters come out, because this change is really neat. It's comfortable for everybody, gives a lot of customization, but sorcerers and wizards need something as a result.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
for sure. It really feels like, you know, a buff somewhere is a nerf somewhere else, and this you can kind of see. Like, it's a buff for the bard, but it's definitely a hit to the wizard.
Yeah. So it looks like spell slots pretty much work exactly the same. Charisma's your spell ability. That's all the same. You can use a musical instrument as a spellcasting focus. I didn't know if they could only use a musical instrument before, or they could use other things too, but that's just a flavor thing. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So expertise, I'm assuming all of the expertise classes are going to get this, since they're expertise classes. But you get expertise in 2 skills of your choice. I'm assuming they list somewhere what expertise means. I'm assuming it's the same thing as before. You just get double your proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
So Songs of Restoration. So here's where things change as well, because the Songs of Rest before was when you took a short rest, you gave extra hit dice, which honestly, how often have you actually seen that used in game? Now you're just getting a bunch of healing spells.
A Monday game, he does it every time.
It's handy when you use it, but it's hit and miss. It can be hit and miss.
It's not great, you know, especially at higher levels.
Yeah.
When you're rolling like 6 hit dice on a short rest, it doesn't help that much.
So this is another thing of like pushing the bard into that like Healy support class. The fact that you're getting Healing Word, which I'm happy they gave Healing Word over Cure Wounds, because mechanically, arguably, Healing Word is the better of the 2 spells, even though it heals less. Lesser Restoration, Mass Healing Word, Freedom of Movement, Greater Restoration. Those are all clutch spells.
Absolutely. A Greater Restoration especially is an important spell in depending on the campaign you're looking at.
Yeah. Yeah, and Freedom of Movement.
And like you said, it pigeonholes the bard a little more into the support class, right?
Some people are going to be like, I don't like that. I want to customize it how I want. And I'm like, well, I mean, there are systems for that if you want that. But at the same time, these are archetypes for a reason. They're stereotypes in a way to give you guidance and to give you the familiarity, I think. I don't think that's a bad thing. And you still have customization, tons of it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what multiclassing is for.
Yeah. Yeah, that's when you mix and match with multiclassing. Subclasses, same shit, different day. Feats, so you gain either the ability score improvement feat, because the ASI looks like it's a feat of its own now, or another feat of your choice. I like that. I mean, it's not much of a change, to be perfectly honest, but it was always, am I giving up an ability score improvement to get a feat? But now it's just, I'm gaining a feat. Do I want the feat to be the ability score improvement? It's not mechanically different, but it feels different.
Yeah, just a better wording for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes more sense.
Jack of all trades. Did that change in level? Yeah, that used to be a 2nd level ability. So you're not getting this until 5th level now. And oh, here's a big thing. Okay, so it's half your proficiency bonus. It used to be to like an ability check, which is very powerful. Now it's an ability check that uses a skill proficiency, they specifically state. So initiative is an ability check. It no longer applies to initiative. Like there's like counterspelling rolls, dispelling rolls. Those are all ability checks. Jack of all trades no longer applies to any of those. Interesting. So you get it later and it applies to less things. but I think that's because rules as intended. I think that's what they were trying to go for in the first place.
Yeah.
Subclass feature 6.
Let's talk the other day, because like I was like ability checks to me have always been like revolving around skill proficiencies. But there's also that like you make your ability checks as if you were making like just a strength check, like straight strength, straight constitution or anything else.
And
right?
people forget things like initiative is just a dex check. An initiative is a dexterity ability check.
Yeah.
So anything that affects ability checks affects your initiative roll too. There's a lot of little things like that because there's only 3 types of rolls in the game, really. But they getting a little better at explicitly wording this. I think they've seen people break shit on the internet. So font of bardic inspiration. So that is also later. That used to be 5th and it's now 7th to get it back on a short rest. Looks to be about the same text, except that you're getting it 2 levels later.
Yeah, see, that seems just like another kind of nerf towards Bardic Inspiration, and I don't really think that Bardic needs a nerf.
There's a second part to that, though.
Oh, I didn't look on the second page, yeah.
Yeah, read what it says on the next
Oh!
Oh, if a creature rolls your Bardic Inspiration and gets a 1 after any rerolls, that you use your Bardic Inspiration isn't expended. I like that.
I like that. That's a subclass thing, but I like how they've made that just everybody.
That's a little weird on the math because, like, the higher level you get, the less likely that is to proc. Because the bigger the die, the less likely you are to roll a 1. But
True.
It is still very useful. Like, if like they only need a low roll anyways. I mean, like, what do you got to lose at that point if they're only a few points off? Just give it to them, and even if they roll shit, they still succeed and you get it back.
They could do what the actual subclass ability is. I'm not sure which one it is. It might be lore, but basically, if you use your Bardic Inspiration and you don't succeed on the roll, you don't use it. So if you didn't actually help them succeed, you wouldn't have actually used your Bardic. Which, if they change that here, that might balance it out a bit more because then, you're not flushing your Bardic Inspiration.
We're gonna see.
When you get so few.
We're gonna have to see how that goes with the new reworked subclasses. Also, like, they haven't specified here, but they keep saying, "Oh, everything's backwards compatible." Can you use the reworked classes with the old subclasses? I don't think so.
That depends on what they do to the subclasses.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's some differences here. For example, as we're about to get up to, so 8th level is a feat, 9th level is another expertise. So here's the thing: 10th level subclass feature. Bards didn't get a 10th level subclass feature before. They went from 6 to 14. There was a gap.
There might have that might have been a change. Because of how they are compressing, like how they're moving the 20th to the 18th level.
Well, no, they still get their 14. They get all the other subclasses in the same level, except they've added one. They get an extra subclass feature now.
Interesting. Oh.
It used to be, it was 6 and then 14, and there was this huge gap. You didn't get any subclass features. There's a 10th level one they've added.
Interesting.
Yeah, I like that. That's cool.
But that also means it's not compatible with the old subclasses because there's a step you don't get.
Yeah.
So, yeah, not completely backwards compatible. I don't know. We'll have to see how it works out, but they keep saying it's backwards compatible. I don't feel it's going to be fully backwards compatible. Not for mixing and matching. Each character I feel like is going to have to kind of choose one or the other. You can mix and match the characters, but I feel like they're going to have to choose one or the other.
Yeah.
Magical secrets. So this is the first time we've seen magical secrets. They would have gotten it at 10. And that was normally the first time you saw it before. So it's like a level later. So you choose a spell list, Arcane, Divine, or Primal. And then whenever you prepare spells for this class, up to 2 of the spells you prepare can be from the chosen lists. So this is really nice. So you choose a category, that's locked in. Once you get the feature, you have to choose a category, that's locked in. But you can switch up the spells every day. That's a huge...
That's super powerful. But once again, like, what does that do to the wizard?
I'm scared for the wizard and the sorcerer. Both are like they're gonna need complete retooling. Because like you mentioned, this like wizard's my baby. All of this, like, the way the wizard works now, there is no reason I would play a wizard over a bard right now.
Yeah, and like 100%, dude. 100%, you would pick this bard over any wizard because whatever spell you want from the arcane spell list, you get. You can just switch it every day. You know them all.
Yeah,
but it's gotta be like it doesn't mention it here, but it's gotta be for the spells that you can cast, like up to the spell level you can cast, right?
From any school of magic. Otherwise, follow the rules of your bard's spellcasting feature. So it says it there. So like, it's any of the spells up to the level that you can cast, because the bard spellcasting feature. So if you can cast like 5th level spells and you've got, say, divine locked in, you could memorize 2 extra divine 5th level spells, or prepare them rather.
Yeah.
But the thing is, every day,
and you can switch it up. You'd be
every
stuck
day
in
you
divine.
wake up. You only divine, but that one of the 3 spell lists, you just get 2 spells every day. So, yeah.
And like you could
I wonder what they're gonna do to wizards.
You could choose arcane to just like, because you're like as a bard locked into those specific schools. Arcane, if you choose arcane, you just open up the entire arcane.
Yeah.
I'm worried about wizards. The more I read this, the more I'm worried about wizards. 12th level. So like the ability score improvements all seem to be on the exact same area.
Yeah.
It's exact same. Then there's your 14th subclass feature. Further magical secrets. It looks like you just get another category and then 2 more spells. So you're now 4 spells, but like those spells are locked to that category. So if you choose, because they have to be different categories. So in the first one you could choose arcane, but the second one has to be divine or primal.
Yes.
So it has to be the 2 spells from the one, 2 spells from the other. I feel like I know of some very specific problem players that are going to try and cheese this and be like, oh, I just get 4 spells of whatever. No, that's not how that's working.
But once again, so now you have 2 out of 3 of the spell list.
Yes.
Just complete access to any spell from 2/3 of the spell list.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's
huge.
massive.
Like that's 4 prepared spells. Like, you don't tend to memorize that or prepare that many spells. 4 is a lot. That's chunky.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
But by 15th level, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't think he's saying it because of the power-wise. I think he's saying it because that's, like, treading on other classes' feet.
Yeah.
So to speak.
Like I was all for, like, bards being able to pick from their class and, like, prepare whatever they want, but I thought the lore would be stuck in because it just makes sense that they're just taking one thing from another class and being like, this is mine, rather than I'm taking all of your things and I can just pick between them all the time and whatever I like. It's equivalent of taking
between them is the biggest difference because magical secrets still gave you access to pretty much any spell list.
Exactly, but you were stuck in one, whereas a wizard could learn all of the spells, but now the bard can learn all of the spells except for 1/3 of them, which is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a big one. All right, so 18th level is what would have been your 20th level capstone, except better, actually. So when you roll initiative, you regain 2 expended uses of your bardic inspiration. It used to be 1, and it used to say if you had no uses of bardic inspiration left, you regain 1. Now it just says you regain 2 uses of your bardic inspiration when you roll initiative. It doesn't say you have to have none left. So as long as you keep getting into fights, you keep getting your bardic inspiration back.
Fucking turn around and just start a fight with a fucking guard in the city just so you can get back to a fucking bardic.
Now
roll the initiative and then walk away.
I forget. I forget who it was, but I did see a good argument against this because I watched a clip of I think it was on TikTok. Someone like clipped like a video of someone talking about it. The fact that like, okay, great, you could try to cheese the hell out of it, but the GM controls when you roll initiative. Yeah, you could like go punch a bunch of alley cats, but that doesn't mean you're rolling initiative for it. He might just be like, all right, you beat up some alley cats.
Congratulations, guys. We are no longer playing D&D. Now we're playing Pride and Prejudice.
Yeah.
Get ready for long narratives, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
But the thing is, that also roots back into like, why would I give you $60 if your system can be made so my players can just cheese initiative and then get benefits? Why is that on me to have to, as the DM, to combat that? Why isn't the book written in a way that they can't do that?
I agree. It needs to be rewarded to be better. Just be better, wizards.
Just be better. You hear that, wizards? Just be better.
You're bad and you should feel bad.
Yeah. Either they need to re-implement the clause of when you have no bardic inspiration left, which I don't really like. I would like it if you could like top it up a bit, or limit it to be in line with everything else and make it to your proficiency bonus, like number of times, which is like at this point really chunky. Like that's a good number of times. But at the same time, like you there's no infinite cheese combinations. There's no like 5.5 coffee lock style infinites going on. So just limiting it. And since like ever since Tosh's, I think it was when they started implementing everything running off of like your proficiency bonus, I think that would probably fall in line. And then you get your feat at 19th, and then you get your epic boon at 20th, which I'm assuming we'll get a little more into when we get to feats. Prepared bard spells, these are like the suggested. Seems like a pretty solid list for the most part. I mean, I would just usually suggest look through the spells and pick your own, but
yeah.
I mean, if you're a brand spanking new baby player, or you just do not feel like thinking, or you just need like, I need a character now, then yeah, these suggestions are great. You just basically have a pre-built character as part of the class.
Yeah, and it's something to go off of, right? Like, this is the norm. Okay, well, cool. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, and they're not terrible choices.
17th level, power word kill.
But it works. It's one of the words, right? So it's a spoken, you can make it a song. I guess it kind of works. So then we get into our subclass. Now I like the fact that they seem to be standardizing that word, because before they in like, even if you look in the player's handbook or D&D Beyond, they didn't call them the subclasses. It was like Bard College, Fighter Archetype. Like each class had its own name, which was confusing to newer players. They're like, what? Especially since most of us would just call them subclasses. So it looks like it's just a subclass now, even if they individually have special names. So more wording, that's good, because it less confusing.
Yeah.
So flavor text, College of Lore, whatever. You know stuff. You're a smart boy. Okay. Bonus proficiencies. Let's go to College of Lore on here so I can. So 3 skills of your choice. So this is specifically, you get Arcana, History, and Nature, but if you have them already, you can replace them. So that's a bit different right off the bat, instead of just blanket 3 of your choice.
Yeah.
So interesting. I guess I can kind of see where they're going for, though, because those are the 3 main knowledges, and you're a lore bard.
Yeah, that's fair. That is fair.
So they're kind of refining it. I get it. They're focusing the flavor of it. Cool. Cutting words.
Not bad.
Let's see how different this is. You learn to use your wit, 60 feet. When they succeed on an ability check or an attack roll, which I think that was...
this is already a thing in
it used to also be or a damage roll. They've removed that.
Oh, it's not damage rolls anymore?
No,
Damn.
just ability check or attack roll. So you can't lower the damage. It's just the to hit or ability check.
But you get the healing bardic.
Yeah.
So you get that instead. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, there's no sense you'd want both anyways. Makes sense. That's true. That's a very good point. Very good point. And then the rest of it's basically the same. You roll your number, you subtract it.
Yep.
Cool. Cunning inspiration, which is a thing that's new. Okay, that's different. When a creature rolls your bardic inspiration, they roll twice and use the higher of the two rolls. That's nice. Okay.
Advantage on bardic.
Yeah.
I love it. I really love that.
It's interesting because it doesn't mesh with the other ability that was boosting it, where if you roll a 1, you get it for free. Because you're like not likely to roll a 1 now. So that just basically canceled that ability. But at the same time, you are more likely to roll higher.
That's very true. I think that they definitely should change that ability to, if they fail the roll, you keep your bardic.
I think one of the key words here is the creature can roll. It doesn't say does roll. So they don't have to. If they only need that like 1 point, then they could just roll the 1 die. They don't have to roll both.
Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true.
For those that want to nitpick on the wording of it, which I think in this case is actually important. So I that's good. I like that. Thinking on it now, that's pretty good.
Yeah, and that's in contrast to the additional magic secrets, right?
Well, they're not getting additional magic secrets anymore. They are not getting extra shit.
But they wouldn't need it, unless, do they really need the third class at that
Yes.
point?
Yeah.
The third type of magic at that point with the huge spell list that they have to be able to draw from every single day?
Although this also means you're not seeing magical secrets until 11th level. You know, because you're not getting the 6th one anymore, which is part of the reason people would choose Lorebard to get that early magical secrets.
Yeah.
You're not seeing your first one until 11th level now.
That's honestly what made Lorebard really, really good, is that you get that 6th level magic secret.
It was good, but it was almost too good, because a lot of people have argued, like, Lorebard is the strongest bard archetype.
Creation Bard is pretty good, too.
Creation Bard, like, they've all have their uses, but Lorebard's really chunky if you, build it into stuff.
100%.
Improved cutting words. When you use your cutting words, you deal psychic damage equal to the number rolled, plus your charisma modifier. So you're dealing a passive, like, no save psychic damage. It's not bad.
See, that's really cool. I like that bonus to cutting words, because cutting words is unique to lore bards, and I think that's really awesome. I don't really think it ties too well into like the whole lore knowledge-y thing, but that is really cool.
I agree. I think the whole cutting words thing almost belonged more in like the Bard of Eloquence, or like something that's more about those words impacting people. The lore should have been all about knowledge, but I mean, whatever.
College of Battle Rapper Bards?
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
But it is like mechanically, like ignoring, I guess, the theme behind it mechanically, I think that's really good. Because you're just getting extra free damage that basically can't be defended against, and it's psychic. How many things are resistant or immune to psychic?
Yeah.
Yeah, and at 10th level, that's a D10, which is really nice.
Yeah, plus your charisma. And there's a good chance you're getting a +4 or +5 on that. So that's not bad. You do like 14, 15 damage, no save.
Hey, it's another way of talking somebody to death, and I'm fucking here for it.
Yeah.
Peerless skill, I think is pretty much the same. No, wait. Add the number rolled to the ability check, turning roll bar, add number. No, that's about the same.
Yeah, you can bardic inspire yourself.
Except that if the check fails, you still get you don't expend the inspiration.
Nice.
So that's the only difference. You can still inspire yourself. That's Bard.
That is not bad. I don't know how I feel about the spell lists, and I kind of feel like they're pushing them more towards being casters, which I like, but they're kind of drawing away from Bardic, which maybe the other subclasses will be as good as College of Lore, because College of Lore, this cutting words is just like the use of your Bardic.
Yeah.
Like you kind of decided how you're going to use your Bardic, so maybe the other subclasses will be like unique ways of using your Bardic, like to heal or to inspire or to do whatever. But I feel like kind of base class Bardic is a little underwhelming, so I'm kind of hoping to see more in the subclasses.
Yeah, I said that reaction heal right off the hop is going to get a lot of use if people are using that.
100%.
That is essentially a free heal. Like that, it might as well be a fucking cantrip.
I mean, you could bring 3 people up and around if you need to now. You could go up and make a medicine check as an action, healing word as a bonus action, reaction, Bardic heal.
Yeah.
But you only get so many of them every long rest until level 7, which is a little rough.
Yeah.
I do wish that that was still 5th level for getting that. I feel like that was pushing it to 7. I don't know. We'll see how the other classes stack up. I mean, they may be balancing them against the other classes now versus the previous 5th edition classes.
Yeah.
They're getting some of those things later, like magical secrets a little bit later, and then the short rest inspirations a little bit later. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that, but I'm kind of for it. I originally was on your side. I'm like, I don't know if I like the reaction things versus bonus actions. Once we read about the healing, I'm kind of for it. I think I'm kind of for it.
And then again, like the subclass seems to really, at least the one we saw, seems to really define what your Bardic does. So
yes,
that's also really exciting to see that your Bardic might have a lot more uses, and it might be very defined by your subclass, so that adds a lot of uniqueness to the Bard, you know?
I really want to see specifically something like the Swords Bard or something like that, something where we might see more martial Bard and how that works. So we'll have to see when we get there. But that's Bard. I don't know if someone else wants to dig in for the Ranger, or you want me to keep going?
You want me to do Ranger?
I'm up for whatever.
Yeah, sure. Sorry, I'm occasionally having to mute because my mic picks you guys up and it echoes on the stream.
Oh.
Yeah.
No worries. So I'll do the Ranger. Class group, expert, primary abilities, dexterity and wisdom. Far from the bustle of cities, amid the trees of trackless forests, known as the worst class in all of Dungeons and Dragons. Wanderers of the wilderness, rangers. I'm not going to read all of this. So we're creating a ranger. I think all of this is the same. Let me actually pull up the ranger class. Yeah, that all seems about the same.
First part's about the same. About skills.
Strength, dexterity, their skills.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, looks like all the skills are the same. Looks like all the proficiency stuff is about the same.
So yeah, at first level, this is the cool thing that I saw about Rangers, that they're in the expert group. So they now get expertise at first level and just 2 proficiencies of their choice.
I was wrong about starting equipment. I thought everyone was just going to get a baseline of 100 gold, but I see they get 150 instead of 100 like the Bard did.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, so it is actually different depending on your class.
Yeah. It's not random, but it is different.
So they wanted to give Rangers a little extra love, so here's an extra 50 GP to start out with. Please play a Ranger.
That makes sense, though, because the armor that they have access to is more expensive.
Yeah, I was initially worried about that, because if it was a baseline of 100 gold, that is dramatically different for a monk versus a fighter. Like, what does a 100%. Monk need? That's good.
Yeah, ability score minimum, all the multi-classing stuff. Let's see what they did to favored enemy. You are adept at focusing your ire on a single foe. You always have the Hunter Mark spell prepared, and it doesn't count against the number of spells you can prepare. Moreover, you don't have to concentrate on the spell once you cast it. It just lasts for its full duration.
Until you
That's not currently a thing. I don't play Hunters too much. Is that currently a thing?
For Rangers, it was a concentration before, I believe.
I'm pretty sure it was always concentration.
Yeah. Not that you had a lot of concentration spells before as a Ranger. We'll see when we get into the spell casting here. So it was never really an issue.
But it's still nice because you can now get hit and not have to worry about losing your Hunter's Mark. Which is cool.
One thing I've seen in so many people's like custom Ranger like rebuilds is the fact that they would give it as an ability rather than consuming spell slots. I wish they had done that here. Because once again, even though you don't have to concentrate, there's a good chance you're still spending a chunk of your spell slots on just this one spell.
Yeah. Yeah, again, it kind of like holds you down to that one thing when you could have just made that a feature and let them have a little more customization, a little more freedom with their spells.
And you're like a half caster. You don't get like a lot of spells per se. It's a bit of a buff, but it's still nah.
Yeah, like the lack of concentration is nice, but I see what you're saying. Yeah, you definitely want more spells.
Also, this is it makes it a lot more combat focused and a lot less not combat focused. Like you used to be able for things about getting information and tracking them, all of that seems to be gone. So all the flavor stuff for your favorite enemy is gone. It's really just giving you a free Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, but like the favorite enemy thing was always kind of not useless, but situational. Extraordinarily situational.
I think part of it is because of also there's been a shift in the way play has worked over time. You used to see in older editions, and then in Pathfinder really picked up on this, but in older editions, when you played adventures or adventure paths or box sets or whatnot, you usually played in a theme. You were going to be primarily fighting undead or giants or dragons. You generally had a theme to the campaign, and so you kind of knew ahead of time how you were going to build yourself and what your enemies were going to be. But the problem is a lot of people in the more common modern games tends to have the campaigns meander a little bit more through themes, depending on player choices and storylines and stuff. So I think that's probably why you're seeing it less and less useful.
It would be very cool to see like them not give up on it completely. Like if they tried to do something where like every week you can pick a new thing or every long rest. I don't know if that would be too powerful, like constantly switching, but like just something where you could switch which type of favorite enemy you have.
Yeah, this is my only complaint so far because I'm like even looking through it now. It's not like they get it later, so it's kind of removing a little bit of the flavor of the class.
Yeah, 100%. Because everybody always says like the classic Ranger is Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. His favorite enemy is Nazguls. His favorite terrains is like the valleys and the mountains. That's why he can nat 20 his survival checks all the way through, and this just takes away that like, and even what I'm saying about being able to switch your favorite enemy does also kind of take away from that flavor. But kind of like the harsh reality is unless you like work with your DM to pick a favorite enemy that will show up often, then you're kind of just screwed.
Edwin in the chat makes a good point, and it's that as they're doing it now, whatever creature you have Hunter's marked is your favorite enemy.
Yeah, it's on a specific entity rather than like in general that type of entity.
Yeah. Again, it's getting rid of that deep-seated knowledge of one type of enemy. if that makes sense.
Like, you can't just, like, go up to an area where orcs are in the area and make an intelligence check about, like, the tactics of the orcs and stuff like that, because you haven't hunters marked.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint. I mean, it's not bad giving them hunter's mark for free, because, like, what ranger isn't going to take it?
100%. And this is also great. I'm not sure if they got this before, but being able to switch your spells out on a long rest.
Well, another big thing here, they're casting spells from level 1.
Oh shit, eh?
Yeah. They didn't get it to level 2 before.
Yeah, that's really nice. Especially on, like, I know they're considered half casters, but even on a half caster, you want to be casting magic. It's kind of the point of playing the class, right?
And they get cantrips.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, they get cantrips. That's a biggin. I accidentally, when I was writing my Podley's book before, I accidentally made a ranger cantrip before I remember they didn't get cantrips. Now I can make a ranger cantrip.
Yeah, that's definitely cool to see.
All right. I like that.
Yeah, that definitely adds a lot more to the class.
And again, we're seeing that define like the definition for the spells now. This one they can only take from the primal spell list.
And it can't be evocation. So no bang bang boom spells.
Yeah, only ranger shit.
They can swap it out just like Bard. Just like everybody now, probably. Yeah, that's all swapping it out. Spell slots, I mean, works as per the chart.
Yeah. It's all listed in the chart there. The fighting style is the same. You get your subclass at 3rd, a feat at 4th, extra attack at 5th.
Actually, they lost the dueling fighting style.
They lost the dueling fighting style.
They get archery, defense, or 2 weapon. They don't get dueling anymore. So no 1 weapon style. So it's either you're wielding a bow, you're wearing armor, or you're Dritz Stewarding.
Yeah, no more axes, no more swords.
You can't be like a swashbuckling ranger.
Yeah, it makes sense. Again, yeah, it's more of that, like, trying to hold classes to what they are. Extra attack.
It's a minor thing, yeah. So they get the subclass at 3. Primeval awareness. It's gone.
What's primeval awareness? Let's see. Yeah,
oh, that's a like sonar ping thing you could do within the region around you, like up to a mile away. It's gone.
That's not bad. Again, like you said, it's kind of taking away what seems like the essence of the class. But I'm thinking what we're going to see here is the same thing that we saw with the Bard, where they seem to be taking away the essence of the class until you saw the subclass, which kind of like you can give it a unique essence. So maybe we'll see some stuff about like tracking and whatnot in the subclass.
Maybe. I'm hoping so. Because that was a thing. Like, you don't get exact locations or anything, but you could enter an area and be like, there are orcs in the region. I know it. I can see the signs of it.
I sense them. Those smug elf characters that can just act better than you, you know? Like, I just know. I just know there's orcs around here, okay? Stop questioning me. I'm 1,000 years old. What's different here? Extra attack at 5th, another subclass feature. Roving is new.
Well, here's the thing. 6th level, they didn't get anything at 6. Did they get a subclass feature at 6?
I don't know.
No,
Let me pull up their
they
chart.
increased their favored enemy and natural explorer improvements. They get a new subclass feature at 6.
See, so that kind of supports my theory that in the subclass you're going to see more of that flavor stuff, that good juicy stuff.
And I think that's a completely added level of subclass feature too, not moved.
In spite of the fact
Yeah.
that the abilities of the lore class didn't really fit the what it is at all.
Very true. It didn't fit too well, but it was still cool.
Lore Bard has nothing to do with lore. Cool.
Lore Bard, he's gonna talk a lot of shit.
I know all those bookworms have a sharp tongue from reading.
Yeah, I wish they had, like, if they wanted to focus on the cutting words, I wish they had changed the name of that. So yeah, 6th level new subclass feature. So we'll...
Yeah,
I think that's going into what you were saying on the subclasses probably being a little more important than the core kit.
yeah. Well, maybe not even, like, so important, but it gives you your essence. Like, it gives you the thing that makes your ranger. Like, whatever tracking or favorite enemy or whatnot they're gonna do seems like it's gonna be in the subclass. But we'll see. What I'm seeing here at level 7, though, is fucking crazy. You also have a climb speed and swim speed equal to your speed at level 7.
And an increase of your base speed. That's crazy.
That makes... I love it.
You just
I love that.
Unlocked
Great.
wall running.
Yeah. You can just... Yeah. That's
Fucking
fantastic.
dolphin
Congratulations,
swim.
your ranger is now Rambo. Just like popping up like a hippo out of the water, fucking fire a bow.
You get a swim speed, so you're like fucking the deep from the boys. You're just swimming in with the dolphins and
Yeah, no, I actually I like that a lot. It adds to the flavor of being a ranger who knows the environment well.
and I kind of like that. That's sort of taken the place of the 8th level land stride, which was very circumstantial.
Yes. Moving through non-magical, difficult terrain costs you no extra movement.
Yeah, and then the
And
plants
that's
thing.
the biggest. Like we're seeing that big change where there's a lot less hinging on circumstantial stuff, and like it's now like this is what your character can do, and it's up to you to deal with the circumstances.
Mhm.
Yeah. Which is great.
Yeah. No, that's an
I'll be
improvement.
right back.
Because the whole thing about rangers seemed that it was just like you'd play the whole campaign waiting for your moment.
You have opinion of Foe Slayer. You'll share when we get there. All right, Edwin. I'm sure we'll have opinions as well. We'll see what it's like.
Yeah, I've got a lot of opinions on this so far. I'm not trying to be too critical, but like,
Cause shit's gonna change.
yeah. I feel like I was a little I jumped the gun a little bit there with the bard saying like, oh no, this is not good because bonus actions. But that subclass really sold me that they're going for something a little different,
Yeah.
and it's nice.
It's in some ways the bard. It's they got some improvements, some nerfs. I think it's kind of both. I think it's just different. It's just different.
Yeah.
We're old and we
It's
don't like
just different.
change.
No, 100%. I'm gonna grab a drink though. I'll be right back.
All right. I'm gonna stay here and entertain the audience while we all AFK for a second.
I'm back.
Oh, and BHG comes back just as Technodatum goes.
Oh, wait till I heard he's gonna grab a drink.
Okay,
so we'll wait for him to
we're
come back.
gonna take. I'm gonna take a minute here to get a drink and refill my water as well. Then I'll be right back.
Absolutely. Honestly, I mean, the Bard was underwhelming. I don't know if I like all of the changes, but I like the Ranger as far as it's going so far. Yeah, that makes sense, Edwin. I think for Nature's Veil, I mean, it'll depend on how it works with your class options, I think. As a bonus action, you can expend a spell slot and become invisible until the end of your next turn. I mean, that's still not terrible. Use a spell slot for invisibility. It's not bad.
Can't you just use a spell slot to cast invisibility?
Assuming that invisibility is available in that spell list.
True. True. Do-do-do. Yeah, no, like I was telling Ken. Oh, what do you got?
Instead of switching it up to a mango white claw. Although it's
Fuck
not
yeah.
sponsored.
Not sponsored, but buy the shit.
White Claw, if you're somehow watching this video, sponsor me.
Yeah, do it. Just do it. Yeah, no,
I was
roll.
saying, oh, go
What?
ahead.
No, you go ahead.
I was saying for like the general like stance of things, like I'm underwhelmed with the changes that they made to the bard. I like some things, I don't like other things. The ranger, there's not too much about this I don't like so far. The ranger needed an overhaul in a way that, again, it's like it's a little less flavor, but I'm seeing more utility in the way that there's like that extra speed's gonna be a killer at 7th level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Extra speed, and you can just run through rivers and shit.
Mechanically,
Like nothing.
it's not bad at all.
Nothing's gonna stop them now.
No.
You know, like they can swim, they can climb. Just give them flying, and then they're good, man. They're... But I love that. I love that 7th level ability. 8th is just another feat. And more expertise. And again, I love that Rangers are getting this. Because they definitely should have expertise in things.
Yeah, I agree.
It's just flavorful, it's great, and will make the class a lot more fun to play. So they're not getting hide in plain sight at 10th level, they're just getting a subclass feature, which again tells me that they're probably going to give more of this flavor stuff in the subclass.
So another not backwards compatible thing, they're getting their subclass feature earlier. Is that 11 instead of 12? Or is that 10 instead of 11?
Yeah, and again, then there's a completely new 6th level subclass.
Yeah.
So any existing Ranger subclass wouldn't work because of that. And then 11th level is Tireless. Primal forces now help fuel you on your journeys, granting you the following benefits. Temporary hit points. Whenever you finish a short rest or a long rest, you can give yourself a number of temporary hit points equal to 1d8 plus your proficiency bonus. That's not bad. They kind of just made the Bard's old Song of Rest a personal thing for Rangers, but, you know, it kind of makes sense because when they're outside sleeping and stuff, they would be more comfortable.
There's so many things that can give you temporary hit points already, though. And they don't stack.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. And that's 11th level to be getting 1d8 temp hit points. Like, it's not
a little bad. I mean, it's a few extra hit points that like are only usable once. I mean, I guess it's okay.
It's nice that it's on a short rest.
Yeah.
I think the major benefit there is the decreased exhaustion.
Yeah.
By 11th level, you're coming across more situations where you can find yourself exhausted.
100%.
I'm hoping in this edition, exhaustion mechanics are used more often. It's an interesting mechanic, although maybe they could like retool it a bit so it's not as easy to die from it. And maybe just like re-flavor the levels of it, expand it maybe to like 10 or something. But I like the exhaustion mechanics. There's very few things that use it. There's so few things that use it.
I can list Haste and Frenzy from the one Barbarian subclass.
I think it would be really cool if there was like more abilities, like the ability to like overcast spells or cast more spells or something while exhausting yourself, or like things like that. Other uses, like optional uses to exhaust yourself.
Ooh. Yeah, like your fireball does max damage, but you take a point of exhaustion.
Like
some shit like that.
Or like you're out of spell slots and you want to cast that one last spell.
Yeah. I like that.
So I'm hoping that they, especially if they're incorporating here as something for like helping to ease exhaustion in one of the classes, I'm hoping there are actually more exhaustion mechanics.
Yeah, especially for like a ranger where you can like really expend yourself. Because it would be cool to like if you had a wizard who can cast haste and then you just take a short rest and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Or like
that's nice.
exhausting yourself to take an extra action. Like imagine a ranger going in and pushing himself to like go in and actually like get that extra attack in, knowing that he's going to be able to recuperate a little bit on that short rest.
Yeah,
I would love to see something like that. So what, we got a feat, 12.
Yeah, 12. You get a feat.
Usual.
The Nature's Veil. I don't think you get. What do you get at 13?
Oh,
nothing. You get nothing.
So really, it's kind of like instead of the hide and plain sight, which was kind of like, nah, you just outright can turn invisible at 13. It's like later, but that's instead of vanish, basically. Sorry.
Yeah.
See, I like that it's a bonus action because you can literally shoot off some shots and then disappear, or you can disappear and then roll a stealth check, like use the hide action at advantage because you're invisible, and be like actually really hidden. So both of those options are really good, but just the cost, like furbolgs get that once a day, that same ability, as you can just turn yourself invisible once a day for one turn, whereas the first level spell invisibility turns you invisible for like an hour.
I think
So
invisible is normally second level, isn't it?
Is it a second level?
I think so.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's like I'm wondering what they've done to amend that. Like, where does invisibility fall in what spell list now?
Yeah, that's true, right?
I'm assuming it's gonna. Oh, I'm assuming it's gonna be arcane. I'm assuming. Yeah, invisibility is normally second level. So technically, with Nature's Veil, a ranger is casting invisibility with a first level slot,
Which is cool.
And getting, yeah.
And it clicks in with the ranger shit, right? Like you said, you take that second to like dodge into your background and whatnot.
I like this. This is way better than Vanish, I think, in every way mechanically.
Vanish is a 14th level ability. Let's see this.
You just can't take the hide. You can take the hide action as a bonus.
Okay. Yeah, rogues get that at like
2.
2. So
yeah.
Subclass feature at 14. Barrel senses. What?
Blind sight, range 30 feet.
Jesus Christ.
That's a big one.
Are you kidding?
That's big. That is big. It's like, you can't hide from me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's big. And they're like, they didn't normally get anything at that point. It's a big change. That's a game changer for a lot of creators.
Base class. You can swim, you can climb, and you can see fucking everything.
And you can turn invisible.
And you can turn invisible.
Yeah.
You're the predator.
That is terrifying.
You're the predator.
Turn invisible, but only for a turn.
But still. As long as he keeps expending like spell slots or whatever.
Yeah.
I love that. Barrel senses that's a great thing.
That's clutch. Yeah.
All right, this is what Edwin was talking about, right?
Foe Slayer.
Foe Slayer. Yeah.
At 18th level, oh, so you get an extra D4 at 18th level for your Hunter's Mark.
Extra 1d10 damage to its target rather than an extra d6.
So, versus your Wisdom modifier to the attack roll or damage, which is what it used to be.
And Edwin says, when it comes to the Ranger's Foe Slayer ability, I'm convinced 2d6 is preferable over the current 1d10. 2d6 is psychologically more satisfying than 1d10. If you roll up to 5 on the d10, you might think you could have done better with the d6 you had before. If you roll 2d6, you know that the damage of the second d6 is damage you would have done if you rolled just one dice.
So he's saying it's a bit of a nerf. I'm saying he's not saying it's enough of it. He's not explaining how much of a nerf it is. Because not only is it now a random amount instead of just your wisdom modifier, which at this point is probably like a +4, +5. Probably a +5. But it used to be to your attack or damage roll. Like if you needed to hit something, you could put it on your attack. You can't do that now.
The bard gets 2 bardic inspirations for rolling initiative at 18th level.
Yeah, and
The ranger
gets an extra 1d10.
gets to go up 1 dice size from a 6 to a 10. And like you said, like, why not just 2d6? So then you just have double, and then it's like, oh, I rolled a 1 and a 1,
Yeah.
so, you know, it's cool. But, like, it's just so underwhelming.
Because it's an increase in dice size, it's a possible +0 benefit. Because you're rolling an extra 0 to 4 extra damage over the d6. So that is fucking rubbish.
This is like opening up your 10-piece chicken nuggets and seeing 9.
Yeah.
This is just
And a bite out of the 8th.
See, I was super digging the ranger till this. I don't know if they were like, oh, if blindsight's too good, we gotta fucking like hit up their end cap and just like get rid of like the 18th level is supposed to be their like end cap class ability basically. It's
telling you, there's one guy who works at Wizards of the Coast who just fucking hates the ranger class. Like his ex-girlfriend made the ranger class, and it's just been up to him to fuck with this class. And they've been reworking it, but he managed to weasel his way in for this one thing.
Just this one feat.
Well, just
take that, Janice.
He's an old school player. He hated everyone making Dritz Stewarden clones with their rangers, and he's just like, I'm not having any of this anymore. I'm done.
Platt made a really good point earlier too as to why a lot of these changes are probably happening. He was like, maybe it'll be worth playing for something besides the flavor. And it's a very good point, because for more often than not, the only reason you would play a ranger over other classes is for flavor alone.
Yeah,
100%.
In the old class, anything a ranger can do, most of the other classes can find a way to do better.
100%. 100%. Like 9 times out of 10, if I wanted to play a ranger, I'd just play a fighter and maybe like dip a couple levels in druid or something.
Yeah. That's literally it. It's never been a class that played its role. Right? Like it's a role-playing game, and then it's not the best at its role, and it just makes it not fun to play.
Yeah, Edwin, you were like hyping us up for the fact that Foe Slayer was going to be bad. I don't think you hyped it up enough. This is bad. This is shitty. Like it might as well not exist.
That's so bad.
It might as well just be like 18th level. Fuck you. And then that's
10
it.
is better than 6, though, right? You all have phones, right?
Yeah.
Open up the calculator on your phone and see that 10 is higher than 6.
You all have D10s, right?
Did you go to kindergarten class? You can count to 10.
No, that's bad. That's supposed to be like their big like capstone. Like this is what it means to be a ranger. It's bad. That's bad. Yeah, they should feel bad.
Like again, up to that point, I was kind of on board. I was like, okay, we're seeing the ranger with a little bit more utility, and it's like, oh, let's just take a dump on 18th level. Okay, so we're gonna play ranger up to 17th level or 16th level, and we're just gonna cross class for the last 4 levels, and it's gonna be now it's useful again.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. Like they had me so good with blind sense at level 15. I was just like, this class is fucking awesome. And then they hit you with that D10.
I would play it till 7th level to get the 5th level spells, and then that's it. I don't see a reason to play ranger past 17th level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's...
Yeah, there's really not one.
Yeah, it's 17 that you get 5th level spells. I would not play it past... And, like, unless you're going for those epic boons at the end. Like, and that's
they better be fucking good.
They better be fucking good. Because ranger-wise, I do not see a reason to play a ranger past level 17 right now. There's no reason. That's bad.
Yeah. I'm going to pull up the...
Christ.
Ranger...
My gosh.
I'm pulling up their hunter subclass now.
Oh, yeah, I should switch to hunter. There we go.
Hunter Ranger Handbook. Why not?
This looks...
Okay.
Different. Very different. Okay, so Hunter's basically a rework entirely.
You stalk prey in the wilds and elsewhere, using your D10 as a hunter to protect nature and people from them.
Yeah.
Hunter's Prey is the first third level ability here. Your tenacity can wear down even the most resilient foes. When you hit a creature with a weapon or an unarmed strike as part of the attack action on your turn, the weapon or unarmed strike deals an extra 1d8 damage to the target if it's missing any of its hit points. You can deal this extra damage only once per turn. So stacked with Hunter Mark, that's disgusting.
That's neat that it's also added onto unarmed strikes. I can see some monk ranger shenanigans with that.
Yeah. It's still Colossus Slayer, just with like a slight amendment. Like
Yeah.
it's not a huge difference.
Yeah, I'm seeing that here in Hunter's Prey.
Basically, they just got rid of the other two options.
Yeah.
You don't have the options for Giant Killer or Horde Breaker.
So you get Hunter's Lore. You can call on the forces of nature to reveal certain strengths and weaknesses of your prey. There you go. While a creature is marked by your Hunter's Mark, you know whether that creature has any immunities, resistance, and vulnerabilities. And if the creature has any, you know what they are.
Okay. Fuck you. Fuck you, wizards.
I like that, though. That brings back in the creature knowledge. Like,
true.
that is what a ranger should be. The ranger should be like there's like Monster Hunter vibes here, right? Like the ranger's done his homework. And he knows, like, this thing, okay, no fire, but cold good.
I guess I'm jumping. I was jumping a little bit there because I'm thinking of a certain subsect of players that I have in some of my games that like meta knowledge a lot. So I guess this gives them an excuse to have meta knowledges, but still, also just like.
I know you want to keep it a surprise, but I actually don't mind this. Even as a DM, I actually don't mind my players having this.
I don't mind them knowing the immunities, resistances, and vulnerabilities, because those are very specific things. They still don't know its AC, they don't know its hit points, they don't know its stats, they don't know its features, they don't know its spellbook. They know what can hurt it and what cannot hurt it. That's not terrible. You know, it's not like this would be a reason to say, well, look, I'm a Hunter's Lore, so I know the troll has to take fire damage or it regenerates. Like, no, this doesn't tell you that.
This is just the ranger doing his homework, like Platt going onto the Monster Hunter wiki just to see what things are vulnerable to.
100%.
Yeah.
Platt, let me get a peek at that monster manual, you know? Oh, that's good.
No, I actually don't mind this. It brings back some of the flavor of knowing the creatures you're hunting.
Yeah. And at 6th level, that's fair.
And you have to hunter's mark it.
It takes a spell slot, and it justifies that spell slot that you're spending on your Hunter's Mark, and it gives you that flavor of being a ranger. I think all around that is a great thing.
Yeah, no, that's not too bad.
I can see why you balked at it at first, though. Like, you're like, what? No, what?
I'm not telling you shit.
My secrets! What if I change a creature's vulnerabilities just to fuck with those players who studied the monster manual?
Well,
now a ranger can be like, nah, I know what's up.
Yeah. I got the skinny, yo. All right.
Well, then just give them 10 monsters that all have different resistances.
Immunity players tiers? Did you put this in here?
What's its resistances? Different every round.
Let's see. Roll a d6.
It's a chaos monster.
See, now you're giving me ideas.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, this you don't get the two options for the next subclass thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
You have volley or whirlwind attack for your multi-attack. For this, you just now have conjure barrage always prepared. It doesn't count against the numbers of spells you can prepare. You can also cast with the 1st and 2nd level spell slots. When you do so, the spell's damage is reduced by 1d8 for each slot level below 3rd. So there you go. There's some de-leveling of spells.
I don't like that. You're making them like math that out and adjust it, and that just seems messy. It seems like they could have just made an easier to scale ability rather than be like, take this ability, but minus this and adjust it for the level if you're going to do this. It seems messy.
They already do that for upcasting. This is the same thing, just downcasting.
Yeah.
Like if you cast a 7th level fireball, you just have to add the D8s or whatever it may be, however more you casted it. This is the same thing, but in reverse. You're just downcasting it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Like like the rules already exist, and now you're just doing them in reverse. Which is kind of like, I've heard people ask that question before, like, can I use a 2nd level fireball? Like, no, but
No.
you can use a higher level one, so why wouldn't you be able to use a lower level one?
Why would you want to?
Why would you want to? That's disgusting. Get out of my game. You're banned.
I just want a little bit of fire. A little bit of spread fire.
Just a smidgen.
Just 1d6.
We'll also just have to see how good Conjure Barrage is, if it's any different.
Then I'd have
That's true.
people like Ardor being like, "Oh, we're in a flour mill. I'm just gonna cast like a itsy bitsy 1d6 fireball."
Fireball, not a big one. Just.
What's a fire spread gonna do? Come on.
Oh my god, I still can't believe that. Like, did he not think? Flour mill,
Some people
fireball.
don't know that flour is flammable.
That's
Some
true.
people just genuinely don't
As soon as he mentioned that, I'm like, we're in a flour mill.
I think he, like, once he realized what he had done, he had already felt like it was too late to go back and retcon it.
He's committed.
He was like,
I applaud him for sticking with it, not asking for the retcon.
I also don't think he thought it was going to actually hurt us. Like, I thought he thought it might hurt Eldrin, but...
Oh, in Curse of Strahd, I'm taking every chance I can to do as much damage as I can to you guys.
I don't blame you. I applaud him for sticking with it, though, being like, oh, well, you know what? I did it. Let's go.
But by level 20, when this campaign is finally fucking done, I want all of you to have full-blown psychological damage. I want you to hear Curse of Strahd and shudder like you're going through a war flashback.
So we'll survive, I'm telling you. So
I have plans for Varda.
Finally, we got the hunters.
So this last one, it's just uncanny dodge, plus you can redirect the other half of the damage to another creature within 5 feet of yourself, which I'm kind of meh about because you're a ranger, you're probably going to be using bows.
They really hyper-focused this version of the hunter. Like, they took away, like, initially the hunter was like, you could customize, you get 1 of 3 features each time. And like, they got rid of the chance to take evasion, which evasion is kind of a big deal.
They chose what was their favorite choice of those abilities and just applied it.
Now,
Slight tweaks.
By itself, it's not horrible. It's just because we're comparing it to the fact that you could have gotten something better in a previous edition.
But that's the thing, because we get to choose now. It's backwards compatible. So in Hunter from old 5e to Hunter from ONE-DND, what are you choosing? For me right now, Hunter, I'd still take the old one.
The thing is, I wouldn't, because the old Ranger sucked in a lot of other ways.
Well, not the old Ranger, like just the Hunter subclass.
You can't, because they're at different levels. That you're getting the subclass features and everything like that. Like you're.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Comparably between the two.
Yeah.
Like for subclasses, like for class, I would like to take the Ranger. I like a lot of the changes that it made up to level 17 or up to level 16. But for Hunter subclass, I like the old version better than the new version. I like that choice.
The problem is you can't mix and match. You can't have the old Ranger.
I understand that. That's where ONE-DND loses me now, because if it's backwards compatible, then I should be able to interchange them. I should be able to take the new Hunter and apply it to the old Ranger if I want to.
Backwards compatible. I don't think that means what you think that means.
Yeah, this is definitely not backwards compatible. I don't mind the new Ranger. It seems playable, which is cool. It's a little underwhelming in places. but I really like the hunter's lore at 6th level.
They fixed a few things I think needed fixing. I'm really interested to see what they do with the Beastmaster Ranger, because that's like everyone wants the pet, right? And
Yeah,
they keep trying to fix it. And I mean, the fix in Tasha's wasn't bad. It was certainly better than the absolute rubbish that's in the player's handbook. We'll see what they do with it.
Yeah.
I'm hoping something good.
Yeah, me too.
We have the Rogue, and I guess I'm gonna take this one. Let's bring up the Rogue on D&D Beyond here. And I'm a little scared because Rogue didn't really need fixing. Like, Rogue's already fucking disgusting as it is, so hopefully we're like our starting stuff, we're seeing a lot of the same stuff. We got our saving throws, skills, acrobatics, investigation, sleight of hand, blah blah blah. Thieves' tools, simple weapons, martial weapons that have the finesse property, which I think is the same. No, Rogue was simple weapons, hand crossbows, long swords, rapiers, short swords, just like a bard. Simple weapons and martial weapons that have the finesse property, which I still think most of those fall under.
They took away the hand crossbow from rogues too. They're doing away with the hand crossbow, boys. We cannot stand for this. We need to petition Wizards of the Coast right now and tell them that we want hand crossbows in our game.
Yeah, because hand crossbow is a martial weapon, right? So they just don't have it. They just don't. Rogues just can't get the hand crossbow.
Balls, dude.
Because it doesn't have the finesse properly. It's a ranged weapon.
That's a rogue weapon, dude. A little hand crossbow. Come on.
Well,
unless they're changing the hand crossbow to a simple weapon,
which they could be.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
It wouldn't be a terrible change, and it makes sense. Like, it's a tiny fucking crossbow.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you think.
Okay, so Wizards of the Coast, hand crossbow has to be a simple weapon now. Because if rogues don't have hand crossbow anymore, there will be riots in the street.
Yes.
Yes,
there will be blood.
We're coming for you. Don't fuck with our hand crossbows.
Once again, it's a different GP on equipment if you're choosing it instead of equipment 110. Which I think it's just, again, reflective of the things that you have available.
Yeah, smaller armor.
You're only trained in light armor, so you're not going to be paying the extra for studded leather and everything like that. Short bow. I don't want a short bow. I want a hand crossbow. Don't fuck with me.
No, for real though.
I mean, you never got to start with one in the old one either, but you should be able to use it. Goddammit.
We're taking away your hand cross. We're taking your hand crossbows away. You've all been bad and are getting coal for ONE-DND. Yeah, that coal was the fucking 18th level ranger feature.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Just came along and shit on our chests, like.
Jesus.
Maybe they're doing away with the hand crossbow because that's like in 5th edition right now. That's how you do like the machine gun build. Just like spinning, going pop, 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 pop.
They can't have our hand crossbows.
No.
That is the hill I'll die on.
Yeah.
Expertise at first level. So again, we're that theme with experts. They're all getting that expertise at various levels, which I like.
No, this is not the same. I don't know if I like this. It's 2 skills of your choice. It used to be 2 skills of your choice or thieves' tools.
But you get thieves' tools as a proficiency automatically anyway.
Yeah, but not expertise.
Oh, fair.
It's not a skill; it's a tool.
Oh, because now they're only applying it to skill proficiencies.
Yeah, you cannot get expertise in your thieves' tools now.
Ooh, girl. I was at 6th level. Well, let's see what happens at 6th level. Maybe
you get it later. Yeah.
Looks like you're gonna have to answer the door riddle instead of picking the lock.
That's right. I fucking put time into it. You're doing the riddle. I will kidnap my players. They will fucking sit there until 3 a.m. until they figure out the fucking puzzle or go home. Fucking tear up your character sheet and toss it.
You don't like it? Get the fuck out. All right. Okay.
Done.
Maybe they'll get it later, but like right now, yeah, you can't. It's only skills, not tools, not thieves' tools.
That's weird.
First level sneak attack is the same. You know how to once
roll.
on each of your turns when you attack, you deal extra damage to one creature you hit with an attack if you're attacking with a finesse weapon or a ranged weapon, and if it meets at least one of the prerequisites. You have advantage on the attack roll, or you have an adjacent ally 5 feet, and the dice increases as you level up. So it's the same. It has not changed.
Yeah, that all looks pretty much exactly.
First level Thieves' Cant. I understand that Thieves' Cant is that fucking flavor. I forget about Thieves' Cant all the time.
That's
I don't incorporate it into my game.
a DM bad on our part.
Yeah.
That is something we should be doing in the game.
Druids have it too.
Yeah.
It's just another language to keep track of.
Yeah.
Truly, if
Druids.
I speak in Thieves' Cant. Okay, cool. But like,
actually, if you want something cool for Thieves' Cant, I don't know if you guys follow Dale Kingsmill on YouTube, but she had this whole thing about like using like players playing cards and like this like subsystem to like do Thieves' Cant that actually made it really interesting to do. I guess something like that may be cool to incorporate in the game if you know that a player takes that and wants to do something with it.
Even just for like flavor stuff, right? Like for the Druid and for the Thieves' Cant, what I've done is just like there's a message in Thieves' Cant on this cellar thing saying that there's a secret door, and then there's treasure or the next part of the quest. Like, but you found it. You know, good job.
Yeah.
There's wording in here that's interesting. Standard languages and rare languages. I think languages are being subcategorized.
Oh, I like that a lot because it's kind of weird that like everybody speaks Celestial and Draconic and Abyssal.
Yeah.
Draconic makes sense because Dragonborn is a regular subclass, but there's very rare fucking circumstances where you should know Celestial and Abyssal unless you're communing with demons or angels or fucking like celestial beings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of backdating things because languages used to be split into categories like this, and then they got rid of it. So they're just kind of going back again.
Like,
yeah.
Parappa knows deep speech.
Why?
I don't know.
I think Sir Galen had some weird shit too.
The reason why it's an option that you were allowed to take. And
I'm like, oh, that sounds cool.
But like thematically, when you think about it, it's like it doesn't make sense. It's like, why do I need this? When am I going to use this?
Yeah.
And like, it's like now I may look at your speeches one day and be like, all right, let's include somebody with deep speech just to fuck with them.
That's a better tool for the GM now too, because like you don't have players starting with this array of like random esoteric languages, so you can have like the weird bad guy like speaking this unknown language, and you don't have a character going or a player going, well, I know that.
Yeah.
Like right at level 1.
The exception, of course, for Celestial is Azamar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which makes sense. God touched, or something along those lines. But like, other than that, I never thought the Celestial should just be a thing that people could know anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Not without like some like backstory content. Like you're a wizard that specifically like studies Celestials. Then that makes sense that you've been studying their language so long that you've learned it.
So you're a level 1 human that's never left his village before. Speak Common and Vidalcan?
Yeah. I belong to this.
What?
Stupid.
I like that this is Thieves' Cant and you learn another language. I like that you're learning something else along the way. It's not just this one fucking obscure thief's language. Cunning action. Your quick thinking and agility allow you to move and act quickly on your turn. You can take one of the following actions as a bonus action. Same thing, dash, disengage, or hide.
Yeah, it's the same.
There's not really much you can do to fuck that up, so I'm glad Wizards didn't try. Got our subclass at level 3, feat at level 4,
Again, I like as we continue to scroll through and I'm reading this, I'm really liking that they are referring to ability score improvement as a feat, because it did always feel like that. It always felt like you're choosing it as a feat anyway, whether to have those 2 points somewhere.
Now it doesn't feel like you're losing something to take a feat, because it is a feat.
and like I've said the term like, oh, there's half feats, and people are like, what the fuck are you talking about? Well, they're half a feat because you can take an ASI or a feat with half an ASI.
Yeah.
Now it's just they're all fucking feats.
Yeah.
And some of them give you plus to your stats and some don't. It's way better.
Edwin, or a cleric who thinks it's just polite to learn to speak Celestial instead of insisting his god speaks in Common.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
We got Uncanny Dodge at level 5. And again, that rolls back to me saying, like, there's not really much you can do to fuck with the rogue because it's already such a good class to begin with. Like, I see there's going to be a lot of subtle changes that aren't going to make too much of a difference to how the class works mechanically. Once again, we're getting a 6th level feat that I don't think we get normally at 6th level.
No.
6th level feature.
Yeah,
you get a 9th.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, it's different.
Expertise at level 7 instead of like level 6. Yeah. And then we get a feat at 8th level and evade at 9th level instead of 7th.
Yeah, that's a big difference.
10th level feat, 10th level subclass feature, 11th level reliable talent. Is that the same? You define your skills until they approach perfection. Whenever you make an ability check that lets you add your proficiency.
Yeah, it's the same.
Treated a 20, roll of 9 or lower as a 10. So they kept it the exact same. Subtle strikes at level 13. That's new.
That's new.
When you attack, you know how to exploit a target's distraction. You have advantage on attack roll that targets a creature that is within 5 feet of at least one of your allies who isn't incapacitated.
Interesting.
Read over the change in sneak attack. What change in sneak attack?
There was a change in sneak attack? Did we miss something?
To determine the extra damage... Oh, shit. Okay. To determine the extra damage, roll a number of d6s equal to half your rogue level, round it up, and add the dice together.
That's normal.
The rogue table shows the number of sneak attack dice you get at each rogue level. The extra damage's type is the same as the weapon's damage type.
That's the same.
Sneak is now part of your attack action, so no more of turns.
Oh, you can't sneak attack on an opportunity attack.
Oh, shit. Once on each of your turns when you take the attack action, you can deal extra damage to one creature you hit with an attack roll if you're attacking with a finesse weapon or a ranged weapon. Oh, shit. Because that'd be your reaction then.
Yeah.
For an attack of opportunity.
It's not an attack action, maybe. I don't think.
Fuck.
Yeah, you get an attack. It's not the attack action. So yeah.
So that is a nerf.
So you can only sneak attack on your turn now.
Yeah. Fuck.
Interesting.
From a DM standpoint, I don't mind that very much because sneak attack is already fucking dirty as it is.
It's a nerf, but yeah, right now, rogues are the high, like they're top of the damage charts right now.
They're S tier. Man, fucking, all I can think of is Dilwich, who is fucking like loaded up with like a Casey Jones fucking golf case worth of swords that can just like offhand different styles of damage and fucking get that fucking extra sneak attack on there, and just the amount of damage she does, like, it's insane. It's mind-boggling. In
one of Kyle's last games, like I wanted to play a sniper character, so like I had like elven accuracy along with like the deadly aim from the rogue feature that was introduced in Tasha's. Like I was just sitting there and just like popping off shots, critting like fairly often because I'm rolling 3 times for my attack. Like, and the amount of damage just would overshadow everybody. So they're getting a nerf here, which people are going to like be upset at. I'm not. It's a balance.
Sorry, what's the rogue nerf? I was having camera issues.
Oh, the rogue nerf is that it's only on an attack action, so you can't use it on your attack of opportunity.
Attack action, I see that. Yeah,
and you can't use it on a readied action.
Yeah, it's only when you take the actual attack action.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so once per turn as the attack action. So you can't even find a way to cheese it with fight or anything. It's just you get it once. That's it. Once around, basically.
Which again is, in my opinion, what makes rogues so fun to play is that they attack really hard once.
Yeah.
You get one. If you miss as a rogue, it sucks because that's kind of the point. But when you kill somebody who's sleeping, you're really good at that. You're really good at giving a lot of damage all at once. Bust your nut and get out.
I have no problems with this change. A lot of people are going to. I don't.
I gotta say, rogues kind of needed the nerf. They needed to be knocked off their high horse a little bit. I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, I'm cool with sneak attack once a turn, like once a round,
Again, like rogue is it's a dirty enough class that I have multiple players who, even if they main a different class, they like dip into fucking rogue just to get that fucking sneak attack.
Yep.
Like,
yeah.
It's not it is nothing to shake a stick at all. So it needed a little dip, and I'm glad it's not a major nerf.
Yeah.
It's still an incredibly useful ability. It's just the amount of times you can use it has changed.
Yeah. Because, like, there's other cheesy shit you can do, right? Like, you can have a Battle Master build that you use Commander and you get the Rogue to attack because the Rogue gets sneak attack.
Yep. Where were we? We finished Subtle Strikes.
Subtle Strikes.
Subclass feature at 14th. 15th, Slippery Mind. Your cunning mind is exceptionally difficult to control. You gain proficiency in Wisdom and Charisma.
I would like to say they lost Blind Sense at 14th.
And they lost Blind Sense at 14th.
Which is it was kind of weird for them to have.
Proficiencies in saving throws is not bad.
Slippery Mind is better than it used to be. Because you used to just get Wisdom. Now you get Wisdom and Charisma.
Yeah.
So that's
you lose Blind Sense, which is
It was weird for them to get it, I think.
Yeah, kind of.
That's why the fucking Ranger gets it at level 15.
Yeah.
Because they just shifted it. It made more sense.
I get skulking around in the darkness and stuff like that, but at the same time, like actual Blind Sense, I don't know. It did seem weird for rogues to have it.
Yeah.
And considering they just got the increase in their strikes, but the subtle strikes before that now.
Yeah. We get elusive at level 17. You're so evasive that attackers rarely gain the upper hand against you. No attack roll has advantage against you while you aren't incapacitated.
So you get that a level earlier than you used to.
Yeah.
Good, though.
And then 18th, we get our Stroke of Luck that we would normally get at level 20. And then we get our Epic Boon at level 20.
I think Stroke of Luck is different, eh?
Or
it's worded. It might be worded.
Yeah. If your attack misses a target within range, you can turn the miss into a hit. Alternatively, if you fail an ability check, you can treat the d20 roll as a 20. Here, it's if you fail a d20 test, you can turn that roll into a 20.
That is different.
It is, but it isn't, because a d20 test counts on like whether it's an ability check or a saving throw.
Yeah, but you were in before. It was just if it was an ability check, you could turn it into a 20. But if it's an attack, you just turn it into a hit. Now you're turning all of them into a 20, including the attack. That's an auto crit.
Yeah, so it'll just turn into an auto crit.
Oh, shit. So you just auto crit once per long rest, short
rest.
If you fail.
If you fail.
If you fail. So if you get like if you
I really want to crit. I'm gonna close my eyes on this one.
Yeah. Jesus. Okay, and then we get our subclass. Let's scroll down to the thief. Wouldn't have been my first subclass to rework.
Well, well, it needed the rework though, because thief, like no one takes thief. It sucks in the PHP.
All right, fast hands. You have additional options for the bonus action of your cunning action, with which you can do the following. You can take the search action, or you can make a dexterity sleight of hand to pick a lock or disarm a trap with thieves' tools, or to pick a pocket.
It's close to the same. They lost the ability to like use an object as an additional thing on a bonus action, but how often did that come up?
Yeah. Second story work. You've trained to reach especially hard to reach places, granting you these benefits. You gain a climb speed equal to your speed. When you take the jump action, you can make a dexterity check instead of a strength check.
I'm very interested to know what the jump action is.
Well, that's probably gonna be the same as in the player's handbook.
Yeah.
So dexterity instead of the strength check. So it's you're changing what you're rolling off of rather than how far you can jump. I kind of like that. So they're not.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I was just saying. So they're not worried about like it being focused. Like your jump isn't based off strength. I mean, which is good. So it's not crazy, but it's okay.
Supreme Sneak. You have advantage on every dexterity check, stealth you make, provided you aren't wearing medium or heavy armor. And that's at 6th instead of 9th.
And it's a little bit better because you also used to still have to move at half your speed.
Yeah.
And it doesn't specifically state that, but I think sneaking you have to move. I think they just removed it because it was actually redundant. I think you have to do it anyways to sneak.
Use magic device at 10th instead of 13th. You can attune up to 4 items at once now. Whenever you use a magical item property that expends charges, roll a d6. On a 6, you use the property without expending the charge. And you can use any spell scroll that bears a cantrip or a first level spell. You can also try to use any spell scroll that contains a higher level spell, but you must first succeed on a Arcana check with a DC equal to 10 plus the spell's level, which doesn't matter for us because we do that for scrolls.
That's the thing. That feature is not going to be useful in our games because as a house rule, we just give everyone that ability.
Yeah, as it should be.
But for stock raw rules, I mean, it's not bad.
And then 14th level, Thieves Reflexes instead of 17. You can now take a second bonus action on your turn, provided it is a bonus action from Cunning Action.
Oh, that's kind of a nerf compared to what they had. You can take 2 turns during the first round of any combat, is what it used to be. Thief was already one of the shittiest subclasses, and I kind of feel like it's not better.
What was the old feature for Thief's Reflexes?
You can take 2 turns during the first round of any combat for Thief's Reflexes.
Yeah.
Yeah, the fact that this cuts it to you can use this feature on a number of turns equal to your proficiency bonus. If you could just do this all the time.
But now you're just getting an extra bonus action.
Thing, but
it's just an extra bonus.
It's just an extra bonus action now instead of a full extra turn.
But for a rogue, an extra bonus action is a lot because you have so many things you can do with your bonus action.
Yeah, but an extra turn is an extra action, bonus action, and movement.
And the extra bonus action is provided that you are using dash, disengage, or hide.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you're just getting an extra cunning action.
That's a nerf.
That's a big nerf. So unless they've nerfed the rest of the subclasses, Thief is still one of the worst.
Yeah. They did nothing to fix it.
They didn't seem like they changed too much about the rogue.
No, they mostly left alone, which is good.
Yeah, agreed.
They just nerfed it a bit, although I don't think Thief needed nerfing, but
and now we get to feats. Each feat has a level. To take a feat, your level must equal or exceed the feat's level. You must meet any prerequisite specified in a feat to take that feat, unless a special feature allows you to take the feat without the prerequisite. If a prerequisite is a class or a class group, you must have at least one level in an eligible class to qualify for the feat. For Ked, if you're editing this as well, Adam, this is the point where you add the Michael Scott face going, nope, don't like that.
Yeah.
Not a fan.
So for BHG, I know you kind of dabbled in 3rd edition for a while. I don't know if you ever played Pathfinder, and Adam, I know you didn't touch those at all. So this isn't as bad because I'm not seeing full chains, but you got so many prerequisites, including other feats being prerequisites and classes being prerequisites and stuff like that, to the point that in 3rd edition, like 3.5 to Pathfinder, even 1st edition, which is sort of like 3.75, you basically had to pre-plan your character levels 1 to 20 in order to get the feats that you wanted, in order to do the things that you wanted. You couldn't just like evolve it as you went, because if you did that, you weren't going to meet the prerequisites and you just wouldn't get the shit that you wanted.
I knew people who had fucking like pages of spreadsheets set up for just perfectly planning their character from 1 to 20, as if some of their characters would even fucking make it that far. But also Pathfinder was a different animal, where fucking one character was a fucking Jedi and another character was a fucking weird fairy summoner, and fucking, you know,
I made a wizard that could sneak attack with a 60d6 fireball, so Pathfinder was a little broken. Yeah. But it doesn't have feat chains here that I'm seeing yet, but it concerns me that they are now starting to put more prerequisites into the feats.
Yeah.
I'm not liking this. Just maybe it's a little PTSD. Maybe it's not that bad. I don't know if it's just me. Gives me shivers.
Now they're defining whether a feat is a repeatable or not as well. So whether you can take it more than once, which it was kind of defined in the descriptions anyway. I don't know if we needed another terminology to define whether it's repeatable, but it looks like they probably did that specifically for the ASI feat.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah. Because it didn't really need the tag before.
Yeah.
Just scrolling through quick, I'm not seeing any repeatable feats other than the ASI one.
Yeah.
It would have been easier if they just kind of stuck with what they had, where it's like, no feat is repeatable unless it says otherwise.
Oh, sorry. Elemental Adept has it repeatable, but as long as you're choosing a different type of energy each time.
Yeah.
So,
they could have saved themselves a lot of printed words if they just had said it's not repeatable unless it says otherwise. And then for those 2 feats, the first sentence could be, this is repeatable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A DM can use... Oh, so bonus feats at 20th level. A DM can use bonus feats as a form of advancement after characters reach 20th level, a way to provide greater power to characters who have no more levels to gain. With this approach, each character gains 1 feat of their choice for every 30,000 experience the character earns above 355,000. Epic boon feats are especially appropriate for these bonus feats, but a player can choose any feat for which their 20th level character qualifies.
As far as house rules go, I think a lot of people were kind of already doing this if they actually had a campaign at that point anyways. Although, I mean, who uses experience points usually, but...
My plan was for if I ever had a campaign that got to level 20 that we wanted to take past level 20, I would make the characters dial it back to level 1, but they maintain their stats, features, and abilities that they've learned from that class, and then can choose to take a new class to start pathing into. Or could alternatively take a second subclass or something like that.
Yeah,
but I've never had a campaign that has gone past 20th level, so I've never had to worry about it.
Usually by the time you've reached, like, if you've actually gotten to the point where you've played enough story where you've gotten to that level, you're kind of like, all right, I think it's time maybe we change it up anyways. Yeah. And if you've started at high level and got to that point, then 10 to 1 it was because you had a focused storyline you wanted to do already. So yeah, I don't see much of a need for it. But, I mean, it's nice to have the option. It's nice it's in there. More options don't hurt.
We got our ASI, and that's the obvious one. 4th level feat. It's funny. Especially since like characters, like no matter what you're making for a character for 1D&D right now, they're getting a feat at first level anyway. So
They just can't take the ASI that way.
yeah, but like specifically, it's like whatever comes with their background, right?
Mm-hmm.
Actor feat doesn't look like it's changed very much.
I should bring up
You get
feats.
a addition to charisma score by 1. While you're disguised as a fictional person or a real person other than yourself, you have advantage on charisma checks for performance to convince others that you are that person. And you can mimic the sounds of other creatures, including speech. To mimic a sound or a way of speaking, you must listen to it for at least 1 minute. Anytime thereafter, you can make a DC 15 performance check to perform the mimicry. On a success, you perform it convincingly for up to 1 hour.
It's a little different that you only get the advantage on performance. You no longer get it on performance or deception.
Mm-hmm.
So you can't lie as good about the being that. But at the same time, I guess it's not really about lying. It's about pretending to be the other person.
Yeah.
So makes sense.
It's role playing. It's performance.
Yeah.
Feat at level 1. I mean, yeah. Essentially, you choose your background, and there's like associated feats that you can choose with it.
Yeah, it's performance now, Edwin. There's no deception. It's just performance. Looks like.
Athlete, and again, these have prerequisites. So we need charisma 13 for actor. For athlete, we need strength, dex, or constitution at 13.
Oof. I hate
Increase
this.
your strength, dex, or con by 1 to a maximum of 20. You gain climb speed equal to your speed. When you are prone, you can right yourself with only 5 feet of movement, which is even an improvement from ours. And you have advantage on any ability check you make for the jump action.
It's not bad. I still don't like that prerequisite. I mean, what if I wanted to be an athletic wizard that just got those couple of extra things to it? I guess it's not in flavor, but I just...
Well, then you better put a fucking 13 in your con.
Yeah.
Which you should anyway, especially as a wizard.
No, I dump con. Every character. Worthless stat.
Oh my god,
Worst
Jonah.
stat.
I love him so much. He's a wonderful, beautiful man. Oh, Apolos, we barely knew you.
He didn't have good stats to start with, so.
Jesus.
Ooh, Charger's
Yeah.
half ASI now, or half, yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
Prerequisite is proficiency with any martial weapon. When you take the dash action, your speed increased by 10 feet for that action. If you move at least 10 feet in a straight line immediately before hitting with an attack as part of the attack action on your turn, choose one of the following effects: gain a plus 1d8 bonus to the attack's damage roll, or push the target up to 10 feet, provided the target you want to push is no more than 1 size larger than you. You can use this benefit only once on each of your turns.
It's a slight buff. It's not too bad. It's a very, very slight buff. Just the fact that your dash is longer. Everything else is the same.
Hold on, I need to pause for just a second. Edwin says, if you're playing a wizard and getting hit, you're doing it wrong. Dump that con. Normally, Edwin, I would agree with you. Unless you were a wizard with a 9 con that decided to attune to a symbiote homebrew item that required that you make a con roll, or I think, you make a con roll to not have your character basically be taken over and have to roll a new character, which was the case of Abelos.
It was a 20 con save, and you had a -1.
Sometimes it's not just about getting hit. Expect the unexpected, my friend.
And con, I'm just saying, poisons happen, other magical effects happen. What if a wizard casts something at you that needs a con save? Con's kind of a big deal.
What if you're out of spell slots and don't have that counter attack to stop something that makes you make a con save?
Yeah, I would rather dump charisma over con as a wizard.
Yeah,
Nope.
it is
Always
it's not
dump
just-
con.
It's not just about your health. Do not listen to this crazy man. Never dump your con. That is a bad idea.
Playing a barbarian, monk, fighter, just con, right in the shitter.
Crossbow expert. Proficiency with any martial weapon. Okay. Increase your dex by 1. Ignore the loading property for crossbows. Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose a disadvantage. And when you make the extra attack of the light weapon property, you can add your ability modifier to the damage of the extra attack if the attack is with a crossbow that has the light property.
They changed crossbow expert, so it's no longer the default feat for any ranged attack to be able to fire into melee. Be like, I want to fire my gun at someone next to me. What do you need? Crossbow expert. Well, actually, I guess gunner does it now too, but yeah. Or with the bow. It's like, I want to do it with a bow. Well, what do you need with a bow? Crossbow expert.
Crossbow expert. Defensive duelist, dexterity 13. Increase your dex by 1. Parry. If you're holding a finesse weapon and another creature hits you with a melee attack, you can use your reaction to add your proficiency bonus to your armor class for that attack, potentially causing the attack to miss you. That's it.
So a lot of these are giving an ability score increase. Now, like all of these are giving ability score increases.
Yeah, so you take the ASI and get 2, or you take a feat and get 1 and a benefit.
Yeah, the only change for defensive duelists is they just made it a half feat.
Yeah. Dual wielder. Again, proficiency with any martial weapon. You master fighting with 2 weapons, gaining the following benefits. Strength or dex plus 1. When you're holding a weapon with the light property in one hand, you can treat a non-light weapon in your other hand as if it had the light property, provided that the weapon lacks the two-handed property. Quick draw. You can draw or stow 2 weapons that lack the two-handed property when you would normally be able to only draw or stow 1.
So you lose the AC bonus, but otherwise it's pretty much the same.
Yeah. Durable. Con 13. Increase your con by 1. You have advantage on death saving throws. As a bonus action, you can expend 1 of your hit dice, roll that die, and regain a number of hit points equal to the roll. So you can just basically take a one hit die short rest as a bonus action. Which is a dramatic difference, if I remember correctly.
Actually, this feat's very different than what it used to be.
Yeah, very different.
I kind of like this better, to be honest.
That advance on death saving throws is nice.
That and the bonus action thing versus like when you're rolling your hit dice on a short rest.
I always like seeing more encouragement towards taking other feats than the top ones. Like I see this as a viable. If somebody's looking at the luck feat now or the lucky feat now and the durable feat, they might be just as likely to take the durable feat because it has more use.
There's a change.
Oh, sorry.
So I was just reading. There's a change to the light weapon property. Apparently, we got to go back and look that up for the dual wielding.
It's changed later in the document. So
okay. We'll get there then.
Yeah. And then we'll think back on the dual wielder when we get there. Yeah, I like the durable feat now.
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. Elemental adept. Again, is fairly similar, except that you're now getting that 1 to your ASI.
And then again, you can grab it multiple times.
Yeah. So intelligence, wisdom, or charisma, which is nice for variety there. Choose one of the following damage types, and you can't choose the same damage type more than once. Oh, we get to see our first epic boon. 20th level feat. Prerequisite is expert or warrior group. When you miss with a melee attack, you can hit instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you roll initiative.
There's a lot of that until you roll initiative.
Which means you get it once per fight or once per encounter.
I'm a little reluctant on those because that's going to be more powerful with a less experienced GM.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like a seasoned GM's just being like, I'm not giving you initiative, fuck you. Whereas like an experienced GM, as soon as you like punch something, they'll be like, oh, okay, roll initiative.
Beyond that though, at 20th level, even as an expert or worse, and experts we're talking about, like, these 3 were experts. With the bard class, it's
kind of underwhelming for epic boon.
Mm.
Once per combat, you can turn a miss into a hit. Well, there's already a fuck ton of abilities that half of these classes have that can already do that.
Yeah, we'll see what the other epic boons are, but yeah, it's all right. I mean, it is an extra, but I mean, even looking at the next one.
Epic boon of dimensional travel, expert or mage group. You can cast the Misty Step spell without expending a spell slot. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you roll initiative or finish a short or long rest. It's Fey touched without the extra spell.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, until you roll initiative, which is like, if you're in a dungeon and you're fighting in every room, it's really nice.
Yeah, you get this once per fight.
Epic boon of energy resistance, expert or mage group. You gain resistance to one of the following damage types of your choice: acid, cold, fire, lightning, necrotic, poison, psychic, radiant, or thunder. When you finish a short or long rest, you can meditate and change that damage type choice.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
That's not bad. None of these are striking me as epic, but I mean, it's not bad. It's not terrible. I like the fact that you can change it.
This is a very loose use of the word epic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I'm not even just underwhelmed. Like I'm.
Oh, this next one though.
Epic boon of fortitude. Your hit point maximum increases by 40. In addition, whenever you regain hit points, you regain additional hit points equal to your Constitution modifier. You can regain these additional hit points no more than once per round.
Okay. See, the thing that I'm getting off of these is if you scroll back up to that like little highlighted blurb about bonus feats at 20th level, it seems more like you'd send them on a quest. Your 20th level players would go on a quest, and then they'd all get the epic boon of fortitude and increase their hit points by 40 instead of
But
leveling up.
It's not even a quest. If by experience terms, you need to earn 30,000 experience to get that next level epic boon. And like, this is what you're getting. Oh, you get a Misty Step for free. Congratulations. You killed like 1,000 dragons, and fucking here you go. Fucking here's your piddly reward. Go play something else.
Well,
Touch grass.
You are level 20, so hopefully that XP is coming quicker. But yeah, I feel you. I do feel you.
Like
my point more is I think you're supposed to the design of these, or you're supposed to have more than one. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, you get one when you hit level 20, but then they're recommending the DM just keep giving them to you like pieces of candy as you progress at 20th level.
Yeah. Which, again, is exceptionally rare when you could just be starting a new campaign in a different setting and giving a fresh fucking flavor.
I think if they want 20th level content to be good, then they should write 20th level content.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Like, where are the books that go from 15 to 20 that are very story driven and fun? Like,
that's the thing. At that tier of play, your game has to be very different. It is not like the dungeon crawling of like the first or second tiers of gameplay. Like, you're deciding the fate of kingdoms. You have armies under your control. You're traversing dimensions. Like, it should be a very different game.
They're working on it right now, the 15th to 20th level content, Adam. It's about 6 pages long, and the emphasis is that you fill in the rest. Also, it's $75 spanned across 3 books.
After what we've seen with the last few books, like Strixhaven and Spelljammer pissed me the fuck off.
Yeah, I was not happy. I'm putting together a Spelljammer campaign and using literally almost none of the content that came out of that book. I paid for it for nothing.
No, I kind of want to break out my old Spelljammer, like 2nd edition Spelljammer books, and be like, here, read these instead.
Yeah. All right, let's let it was all right. Things were like, okay, this is okay. This fucking feat stuff is a train wreck. I'm sorry. Like, I don't see many advantages except maybe like the durable feat. I just keep everything else.
Yeah.
You want to include an extra ASI? Fine, sure. Give them an extra 1 ASI point when they take their feat. But otherwise, like, not many of these changes make a lick of difference. And these epic boons, fucking, I don't open up a dictionary whoever's at Wizards is fucking using terminology and pick a different word, because this is not epic. This is lackluster at best. You're barely tickling my balls.
Yeah. It should be like pretty good. That's kind of adds on to the character boons. I think it's a good name. It's short enough.
Yeah. Fairly underwhelming.
Why do I have to wait till level 20 to give players half of this shit?
Right?
I might as well just let them take it as regular feats.
Like,
It's like
this is
some
the
of the
type of
regular
shit I would be giving out as quest rewards. Like,
Yeah. These are quest reward features. Like they're
irresistible offense. We get the damage you deal ignores resistances. That's not bad. Luck. Roll a d20. You can roll a d10, add the number to the roll of the test. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until
which
the
tells me
usual
that
shit.
they're getting rid of the lucky feat, basically. Because otherwise, why wouldn't you?
I don't see lucky in the list. They might be, yeah. They might have got rid of the lucky feat, which was borderline broken. I mean, yeah.
Epic boon of the night spirit. While within dim light or darkness, you can become invisible as an action. You remain invisible until immediately after you take an action or a reaction. And I guess invisible, Edwin was saying earlier that invisible is a condition now.
okay.
Okay. I think we just have to get to that stuff yet.
Yeah. That highlighted stuff.
If you make a ranged weapon attack against a target in range and miss, you can cause the attack to hit instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until you roll initiative. Then what is the fucking point? I hate this. I actually hate these epic boons.
Actually, Boon of Recovery doesn't look too bad. As a bonus action, regain a number of hit points equal to half your hit point maximum.
So the two that are actually decently useful after level 20 are Fortitude and Recovery, which are both health points.
Oh, and you succeed in every death save that isn't a 1. So actually, Boon of Recovery is, I would say, the first one I've seen that actually kind of looks like an epic boon.
Yeah.
That one's beefy.
You get proficiency in all skills.
It's hard to kill them. Yeah, proficiency in all skills.
There you go.
I can see that. All right.
Boon of speed. Pretty nutty.
By 30 feet.
Yeah, that one's like, it's good. But I mean, at 20th level, if you really wanted to focus on speed 10, when you have a character with like a 90 base speed anyways.
Yeah.
So here's my pitch for a campaign. It is still fantasy, but it's superheroes. We're not going to give these at level 20 because why the fuck would we do that? Instead, we give one epic boon to each character at level 1. So they want to be a speedster, they get the epic boon of speed. Now they've got that extra speed to start out with. And that's their special thing.
You want 40 additional hit points at level 1? Boom.
Boom.
That's great.
Epic boon of Fortitude. You're a tanky motherfucker.
You want to be fucking good at everything? Here's proficiency in all skills.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, I've always said that D&D is kind of like superhero fantasy anyways. Because, I mean, you look at the abilities you get. If you plopped an average D&D, like a 5th level D&D character into a Marvel movie, no one would bat an eye.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, like, yeah. And then most of these epic boons are, as we mentioned earlier, really just quest reward. This is the type of shit you would give out.
Yeah.
Just for doing a cool quest.
Edwin says the epic boons are all copies of the ones in the DMG.
Oh, yeah. I do remember those. And I remember being like, meh, and never using them.
I don't think I've ever seen them.
DMG now, because I don't think I don't think I read that far.
There's some okay stuff in the DMG, but I mean, some of it was, I actually think, bad advice. And then there's a lot of tables I just don't use.
Oh, what? They just copy and pasted the DMG into this?
There's some changes, I think, but yeah. It looks like the fighting styles are now all feats.
First level feats.
Yeah. So when you get your fighting styles, you're just getting an extra free feat, basically. So they're really changing a lot of these optional things into just being feats.
Yeah, which is nice.
That is streamlining the groupings of the type of abilities. So,
and again, so you can't be a paladin with the protection fighting style. You're not allowed.
One thing I wanted, well, I mean, we haven't seen the paladin yet to know, because one thing to note is fighting styles for the ranger. You pick from the 3 that they list to begin with, and then afterwards you can for when you pick another one, you can pick from any fighting style, regardless of whether it's warrior or.
Nice.
Now remember, the prerequisite is just when you're getting it on your your ASI levels. So it might be in the paladin's list when they get it as their class thing.
Yeah.
But this way, as a first level feat, you figure the warrior would get it as part of their class, but they could also take it additionally on every time they get an ASI feat increase.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is still a little weird that paladin couldn't take those on an ASI level, but we'll see what happens with paladin. Maybe they'll make a caveat for it or something. This is why I still think paladin almost belonged more in the warrior category, but yeah.
But we don't know what they've done to it.
Yeah.
What have they done to my boy?
Made him a full caster. No more martial.
Most of the fighting styles seem to be pretty on par.
Yeah. They just want you to know that they're in that warrior grouping now.
Yeah. Protection, light weapon property. Yeah, that's all pretty much the same. What about grappler?
So you get your strength or dex ASI, which is new.
The jump action, and I'm just reading these in the keen mind, it says you can take the study action as a bonus action.
Okay.
The fuck is the study action, my guy?
No,
that's new.
That's what that glossary at the bottom is for. That
Yeah,
we were making fun of at the beginning of the fucking.
Yeah. I guess we have to actually read the glossary because that's new. I don't know.
All
right.
You have advantage on attack rolls against creatures you are grappled with. That's the same.
Okay. Yeah.
You aren't slowed when you move a creature grappled by you, provided the creature is a size smaller than you, which I think is the same.
No, is your size or smaller? And that's
no, that's new.
That's new. That's nice. So you're no longer at half movement when you're dragging someone around.
When you hit a creature with an unarmed strike as part of an attack action on your turn, you can deal the damage to the target and also grapple it. That is also new.
Oh. So you no longer have to. You wouldn't have to replace one of your strikes with a grapple. You could just hit it and grapple it,
which is really nice for.
Also, I did see in the previous playtest that they were changing the way grappling works entirely. The whole grapple mechanics aren't being entirely focused off of athletics checks or anything anymore. I'd have to go back and review it, but that's all different now.
We might see that in the glossary as
grapple, well. You just make an attack check to grapple.
We're on page 20 of 37. We're making our way through, guys. Great Weapon Master. Strength increase immediately after you score a critical hit with a melee weapon or reduce a creature to 0 hit points with one. You can make one attack with the same weapon as a bonus action.
Yeah, it's the same.
When you hit a creature with a heavy weapon as part of the attack action on your turn, you can cause the weapon to deal extra damage to the target. The extra damage equals your proficiency bonus, and you can deal it only once per turn.
Oh, so they got rid of the -5 +10 thing.
I don't like that. I like the -5 +10. Broken.
Heavily armored. Prerequisite is medium armor training. Increase con or strength by 1. You gain heavy armor training.
There's no healer feat anymore. I mean, it might still get added, but yeah.
That's the thing. I think that like these feats are specific to what these particular 3 expert classes were capable of.
Maybe,
I'm
yeah.
thinking that a couple of them they're going to be showing it to us with the next set. So next they'll probably show us like healers and then mages and then warriors, and those individual feats that they can learn will be in those packages. Heavy Armor Master. You can use your heavy armor to deflect strikes, granting you the following benefits. Increase con or strength by 1. When you're hit by an attack while you're wearing heavy armor, any bludgeoning, piercing, or slashing damage dealt to you by that attack is reduced by an amount equal to your proficiency bonus.
So very slight buff, sort of. The nerf in the earlier levels, buff in the later levels. Instead of just being a static reduced by 3.
Yeah.
I like all that proficiency bonus stuff that they're doing. That seems, because proficiency bonus is a good way to scale like your attacks hitting, but they don't seem to use it in many other places. It's good to see it being used in other places.
Well, it's ever since Tasha's, they explained that they wanted to reinforce that it's okay to multi-class. So by basing things off of proficiency bonus instead of like class levels or anything like that, they're like, hey, we don't care what classes you have, you're this level total.
Yeah.
Inspiring leader. Bring it up on this side too. You get ASI, and at the end of a short or long rest, you can give an inspiring performance, a speech, a song, or a dance. When you do so, choose up to 6 friendly creatures, which can include yourself within 30 feet of you who witness the performance. The chosen creatures each gain temporary hit points equal to 2d4 plus your proficiency bonus.
So it's just a different amount.
So now it's your proficiency instead of your charisma modifier.
Yeah, and it's
again
2d4 instead of your level.
Yeah, more proficiency based things. It's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not bad or better. It's just different.
And I think it makes sense because now you're not cheesing feats in the way that you are like now it's an equal opportunity feat. Anybody can use it and have that benefit because as long as your levels are the same or similar, you're all able to have that same proficiency bonus.
Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. Keen Mind. Intelligence 13. Increase your intelligence by 1. Choose one of the following skills. If you lack proficiency in the chosen skill, you gain proficiency in it. And if you have proficiency, you gain expertise. And that is Arcana, History, Investigation, Nature, or Religion. Quick Study. You can take the study action as a bonus action.
Whatever that means. This is much better than Keen Mind before, which is all extraordinarily circumstantial.
You always know which way is north.
Or how many hours before sunrise or sunset.
You can accurately recall anything you have seen or heard within the past month.
Which kind of a lot of people kind of hand wave with like an intelligence roll or something anyway. Yeah, Keen Mind was always a very...
You remember 24 days ago when you called me a bitch? Who's the bitch now?
It's like you would only take Keen Mind if your DM was an asshole.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, you don't remember the name of the person, like your brother that you've lived with for 25 years? Oh, well, you know, fucking bad.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I have the Keen Mind for you. You have to tell me my brother's name. It's like,
yeah.
Lightly armored. You gain the following armor training: light armor,
That's
light
better.
armor, medium armor, and shield.
That is much better. You can level 1 armor wizard a little bit easier now.
But not only the first feat that we've seen that doesn't have the ASI increase, but it is it's a nerf because the old one did have the 1 point in strength or dexterity. So they traded out the ASI point for medium armor and shield.
Yeah, well, none of the level 1 feats, I think, will have the bonus to the stat.
Oh, true. I guess this is like one of the first level 1 feats we've seen.
But you're getting light armor, medium armor, and shield, which is like, that can change your build. Like, once again, you slap that on a wizard, and you've got a good armored wizard right there.
Yeah. Mage Slayer. Proficiency with any martial weapon. Increase strength or dex by 1. When you damage a creature that is concentrating, it has disadvantage on the saving throw it makes for concentration. If you fail an intelligence, wisdom, or a charisma saving throw, you can cause yourself to succeed instead. Once you use this benefit, you can't use it again until finishing a long rest.
It's a big difference, but I see why they're doing it. Even in Mordenkainen's, they were moving away from the whole, like, just blanket advantage on, like, saving throws of certain types and stuff.
Yeah.
I can see why they did it.
Medium Armor Master. Increase your strength or dex by 2. Or, sorry, increase your strength or dex by 1. Maximum of 20. While you are wearing medium armor, you can add 3 rather than 2 to your AC if you have a dexterity score of 16 or higher.
Okay. Yep.
So again, just adding the ASI there.
But they got rid of the... You don't have disadvantage on stealth checks with medium armors that impose it.
Yeah.
So, not a big deal.
Mounted combatant. Increase strength, dex, or whiz by 1. You have advantage on animal handling when handling horses or other beasts employed as mounts. While mounted, you have advantage on attack rolls against any creature that is within 5 feet of your mount and at least one size smaller than it. If your mount is subjected to an effect that allows it to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, it instead takes no damage if it succeeds on the saving throw and only half damage if it fails. For your mount to gain this benefit, you must be riding it, and neither of you can be incapacitated.
It's pretty much the same except for the stat boost. And you get animal handling. So it's a slight buff.
Observant. Intelligence or whiz 13. Increase either by 1. Choose one of the following skills and gain expertise in it, and you can take the search action as a bonus action.
That's very different than the previous observant. You don't get lip reading anymore, and you don't get the +5s to your passive perception and investigations.
Okay. Instead, you're getting expertise in either insight, investigation, or perception.
Yeah, and the lip reading thing was once, like, how often did you see that used?
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty useless.
We'll have to see what the search action is, but I'm assuming that might be something similar.
Yeah, another weird action. I'm not sure what they're doing with actions here, but...
Adding on more, I guess.
Polearm Master. Increase strength by 1. Immediately after you take an attack action and attack with a weapon that has a heavy and reach property, you can use a bonus action to make a melee attack with the opposite end of that weapon. The weapon's damage die for this attack is a d4, and it deals bludgeoning damage.
Slightly better. Just because instead of saying it's specifically glaive, halberd, quarterstaff, or spear, it just says any weapon that has heavy and reach.
Yeah. Does not work well with Sentinel. We'll see when we get there.
I imagine they're going to change Sentinel, because Sentinel was borderline broken in a lot of ways.
Resilient. Choose one ability in which you lack saving throw proficiency. Increase the chosen ability score by 1. You gain saving throw proficiency with that chosen ability.
About the same.
Ritual Caster. Increase intelligence, wisdom, or charisma by 1. Choose 2 first-level spells that have the ritual tag from Arcane, Divine, and Primal spell lists. You always have those 2 spells prepared, and you can cast them with any spell slots you have. The spell casting ability is the ability increased by this feat. With this benefit, you can cast a ritual spell that you have prepared using its regular casting time rather than the extended time for a ritual. Doing so doesn't require a spell slot. Once you cast the spell in this way, you can't use this benefit again until you finish a long rest.
Oh, that's a bit of a change. You can't expand upon your ritual casting like you could. Because before, you'd also get a wizard spell book, and as you found spells, you could add to your ritual book. Now you get those spells. That's it.
Which makes it much more concerning about what's going to happen to wizards.
I'm getting scared about wizards, guys. My babies.
Sentinel. You have mastered techniques to take advantage of every drop in an enemy's guard, gaining the following benefits. You increase your strength or dex by 1. Guardian. Immediately after a creature within 5 feet of you takes the disengage action or hits a target other than you with an attack, you can make an opportunity attack against that creature. And when you hit a creature with an opportunity attack, the creature's speed becomes 0 for the rest of the turn.
I thought they were going to nerf that more. I was not expecting for them to keep that halt thing as it is.
Yeah.
Because this still allows a wizard with a fucking dagger to stop the Tarask from moving by hitting him.
Wait. Okay, never mind. Opportunity attack would include the reaction, because it's not saying that this costs a reaction to do.
Yeah.
No, it's part.
Yeah, it's part of the opportunity attack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I expected that to be changed. They did change it that it's within 5 feet now, so you can't do the Polearm Master like I control an area thing. I think that's what he was going to mention about the changes there. But other than that, I'm still very surprised they didn't put something in there about size categories or.
Yeah, it's true.
If a child had the sentinel feat, they could stop a dragon from moving with a toothpick.
Yep.
Yep.
Cool.
Sharpshooter. Increase your dex by 1. Your ranged attacks with weapons ignore cover and 3/4 cover.
No.
Being within 5 feet of an enemy doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attacks. Attacking at long range doesn't impose disadvantage on your ranged attack. It's specifying ranged attack rolls with weapons.
Well, so you don't get the -5 +10 anymore, but you no longer have to take crossbow expert, be able to shoot into melee. That's part of sharpshooter now.
Yeah. Shield Master. Need shield training. Strength +1. Shield Bash. If you attack a creature within 5 feet of you as part of an attack action and hit with a melee weapon, you can immediately bash the target with your shield, if it's equipped, forcing the target to make a strength saving throw against a DC equal to 8 plus your strength modifier plus your proficiency bonus. On a failed save, you knock the target prone or push it 5 feet away. You can use this benefit only once on each of your turns.
So it's a saving throw now because they got rid of the opposed athletics grapple check thing.
If you're subjected to an effect that allows you to make a dexterity saving throw to take only half damage, you use a reaction to take no damage. If you succeed on the saving throw and are wielding a shield, interposing your shield between yourself and the source of the effect.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's not terrible. Somebody take over reading for a little bit.
Yeah, sorry, I was in the middle of choking on a chocolate-covered coffee bean.
No worries.
Skulker. Let's see how the difference this is. So you get the bonus to your ASI, like we're seeing with anything that's not a first level feat. Blind sight. Now you get blind sight. That's interesting change. Okay. Fog of War. Advantage on dex check stealth to make as part of the hide action during combat. So you're better at hiding during combat. Interesting. And sniper, if you make an attack roll while hidden, then the roll misses. Making the attack roll doesn't end the hidden condition on you. That's actually kind of nice.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Especially if you're playing a little like kobold or halfling, like dash and run, like sniper build or something like that. I can see that. I like that. I like that. That'd be dynamite on a rogue. So you can bonus action just like in and out, snipe, you're good. And if you miss, whatever, no biggie.
But where did that arrow come from?
What the fuck? No, I like it. Speedster is new. There's no speedster. Okay. So Dex or Con by 1. Increase your speed by 10 feet while you're not wearing armor. And you, when you dash, difficult terrain doesn't cost you extra movement that turn. Isn't that just part of the, wasn't that the athletics? That was like a different named feat entirely.
And they just named it Speedster instead.
They named it Speedster.
They just wanted to throw out that cool new name.
I guess so.
It was part of the mobile feat.
Oh no.
Mobile, yeah.
Did they get rid of the mobile feat?
Yeah, they got rid of mobile. I knew there was a feat that already like did that.
I bet you they nerfed the actual mobile feat and turned it into a first level feat.
Yeah, well, there's no mobile feat at all. We're pretty much almost at the end here, and it looks like they got rid of it.
I guarantee you will still see the verb somewhere in another book, and it's just going to be a first level feat that lets you move like an extra 5 or 10 feet.
Yeah, maybe. Warcaster. Oh, let's see what they've done to Warcaster.
Spell sniper.
Okay, so advantage on con saves for concentration checks. That's good. Okay. Let me have the right feat here. That's, I believe, the same. On an opportunity attack, you can cast a reaction to cast a spell rather than making the opportunity. That's about the same. Spell must have casting. Yeah, that's about the same. Somatic components. You can perform somatic components of spells even when you have a weapon or shield in one or both hands. I believe that's the same as well. I don't think Warcaster, other than the bonus ability score increase, has changed.
No, if it's not broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much the same. Weapon training. Did they actually make this like useful?
We skipped spell sniper as well.
We skipped spell sniper. Oh yeah, we did skip spell sniper. So any of your mental stats +1, bypass cover. So it's just like the actually doing with sniper. Casting in melee doesn't involve no 5-foot disadvantage. Increased range by 10 feet. So, I mean, not bad. It's pretty balanced. It's what you expect. It's
sharpshooter for spells.
It's sharpshooter for spells.
Yeah.
They streamlined it. It's about the same thing. Weapon training is +1 to your strength or dex, and then a martial. You gain martial weapon proficiencies.
Pretty simple.
No prerequisites, so you can use a sword as anybody. If you really want to use the hand crossbow, you can take this feat. Don't worry.
I was really worried that because I like some of the shit that Wizards has come out with before. I was really worried it was going to be like weapon training, and prerequisite was like warriors. Like, really?
Because they deliberately left it out. Even if we're running this like ONE-DND, like trying to like test it out. If I'm running, every single character automatically is going to be proficient in hand crossbows, and they're getting one for free.
We're taking it back.
Yes. We're taking a stand here as the D&D players.
Dare put such disrespect on the hand crossbows name, Wizards of the Coast, you fucking bastards.
Yeah. Where's our hand crossbow for rogues? Come on. This is beyond an oversight. You have slighted us.
I need to start a petition.
Bring
the hand crossbow back.
Now, this is assuming, like you said, hand crossbows aren't a simple weapon now.
Yeah.
I can't see them being one, but you never know. I mean, light crossbows are. I mean, the hand crossbow is just a lighter light crossbow. So they might. Maybe that's why.
Oh, we're in the spell list.
So spell lists, I don't see a reason why we have to, like, read the entire list. Basically, the lists are split into Arcane, Divine, and Primal now. If you guys really want to read these lists, then download the bloody PDF.
Yeah, go now. Go download the PDF, and as soon as they let you do the survey, you fucking go into the survey and you say, "Bring back the hand crossbow." Yeah.
So rules glossary. So we're gonna get into some technical shit here. Did you guys want me to keep reading, or do one of you want to take over?
Let's just take a quick 2-minute break. I need to run to the washroom, and then let's go through all this. This is a lot. This is
it. But we're on 30 out of 37.
Yeah, we're almost there. But like, this is a supplement and a half.
Like, that's why I laughed when you were like, "Oh, we're gonna spend like an hour and go through it," and I'm like,
Well, that's because the last time, like there was a lot less to it, and like it was enough to be able to get through in like an hour or so.
No, this has been a lot.
There's a lot to this. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. We're gonna hang out and chill with the stream. I am in it, at least. I'm here with you guys. I'm a mod in the channel, so you piss me off. You get banned. I imagine there's some changes to the schools and stuff. I'm not gonna go through. Don't ban me. I'm not gonna go through the like individuals, all of those right now. That's a lot. That's a lot. Barks and guidance have new versions in the glossary. Okay, well, we're about to go through the glossary. I can speak. We're about to go through the glossary, so yeah. And once again, there will I believe he's got our links in like the stuff down below. For I'm Ked Hupp, we got below me is Talking with Adam, above me is Bad Hair Gaming. Our links are all in there. We have all got like YouTube channels and stuff. I think I've been doing the YouTube stuff a bit longer than them, so it's a little bit more robust, I guess. But they have their live games on there and stuff as well. We've got like multiple live games and stuff throughout the week that are edited and thrown on and stuff like that. So check out all of our links. I believe their channels haven't gotten the custom channel addresses yet. They still have to get the numbers for it, but mine's just youtube.com/kedhup. Theirs will be in the links in the doobly-doo below. Check them out. Give them some follows. I think I don't remember how many follows you need to get to the point where you can get the custom like links for your YouTube. I don't think it's much. And then give me a follow, because I'm trying to get to that like 1,000 subscriber monetized thing, and I'm getting close. I'm getting close. But they're all awesome, and if you like live streamed D&D games, I mean, Talking with Adam, Bad Hair Gaming, we all do it. Myself, we do it. I'm running mine
very
tomorrow.
Full schedule.
Yeah, very, very full schedule there, and mine's running tomorrow, but we're like almost most days of the week, one of us is streaming some sort of content.
Yours is running later today, no?
Mine is running later today. Sorry, I don't know why I said tomorrow. Later today, at 7 p.m. Eastern time, we'll be doing mine. Yeah.
Once I need to get the Mistwalkers on to 8 p.m. to 11, and then yours will be the last one.
On to the 8 p.m. to 11. What?
Yeah, you're right now the only campaigns that are 7 to 10 are yours and Mistwalkers.
Oh.
Because Adam just moved Radiant Citadel to 8.
Good.
Wow, is everyone preferring an 8 p.m. start? Might be a conversation with the
yeah, I mean, like I find it's been a lot better for my Wednesday and Saturday games. I mean, like we run from 8 to 11 for Curse of Strahd, and I find it's like I can get a little bit more prep done. I can like actually get dinner done after work and stuff like that, and be able to eat something and not have to like rush scarfing food.
Sure. Yeah, we can have a conversation as a group. The only reason I ever ran it from 7 to 10 as my normals before is because I had a lot of people that are like, they had like those like early shift things for work. So I've always just kind of run my game 7 to 10 as a result, because like 10 was like, they're like, all right, I gotta go bed. But yeah,
like 7 to 10 on Sundays isn't bad, because like fucking I work early Monday morning myself, and I know like usually most people do. I think that like even Friday's not bad because it's the end of the the work week. I think specifically like the weekdays 8 to 11 is a lot better. For balancing everything.
Yeah. Oh, we'll have a conversation. And when mainly healing spells have been moved from evocation to abjuration, so the ranger can still take them. I'm still a firm believer that all healing spells should be necromancy.
Huh.
Because that's like all about like life, death, and undeath.
It makes sense.
They in previous editions, a lot of them were actually. Glossary. Do you want me to keep reading, or someone else want to take over?
Yeah, I love your voice.
Oh, okay. All right. I guess I used to do it professionally, eh? All right. Ability checks is one of 3 types, which is just like it was before, where it was like ability checks. Has the following special rules. Skills. You determine whether skill proficiency is relevant. So it's just like before, although a lot of people kind of ignored like straight ability checks a lot of times and just went for a skill. You can add your proficiency bonus if it rule refers to a strength check, acrobatics, or athletics. You can add your proficiency bonus to the check if you were. Yeah, so technically, although it's kind of harder in a lot of the virtual tabletops because they tie the abilities to a specific, or they tie the skill to a specific ability check. Technically in D&D, you're supposed to be able to mix and match and swap them. Like you could do an intelligence athletics check to figure out how like a good training regime would be, like, and things like that. Like you're technically supposed to be able to mix and match. You just don't see it done as often. And it's in a virtual tabletop where people are so used to things being automated. I find that's done even less.
Yeah.
We gotta automate our shit less. That's what I'm saying.
But it makes running 3 games a week so easy.
No, revert back to monkey.
Yes.
You use pen and paper like cavemen.
Action required. Making an ability check requires you to take an action unless the rule says otherwise, which is, there's lists and lists of caveats of rules and shit like that.
Such as the hide and influence.
I was just gonna say, I just saw that. It's like influence. What?
So I heard a little bit about this in the 18-minute video I watched with the game designer, that like to influence a creature to be intimidated, persuaded, or whatever, you would have to take an action to do that now.
They're like turning everything into like an action scenario, eh?
So you can't stab a guy in the face while trying to tell him to leave and run away, or you'll kill him.
You have to choose one or the other. Yeah, because in our games, I always allow sort of like a mixture of like social with the combat, because who says you can't talk while you stab?
Yeah, exactly.
Looks like they're kind of splitting that. They've mechanized it.
It kind of makes sense, because there have been times, I remember like even a ski bop, where I would try to convince somebody of something and then roll a dice, and like I'd take like 5 minutes to do all that, and then I'd be like, okay, now I'm gonna do my turn.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, you kind of had your turn already, but
I get that, because in a normal table, this is a game. You have set rules. It's an RPG, but it's got like, board game elements where you've got certain things. Whereas like I kind of run things a little more cinematic, like almost like you're watching like a movie or an anime where all of a sudden there's like this epic speech in the middle of the combat and everyone like paused to watch and shit.
yeah.
I mean, once again, that's just flavor for the GM. Just because these are the rules doesn't mean you have to stick by it. Rule 0 is you guys do what's cool in the moment.
But now there's the other hand of this is, one, the DMs who aren't so keen to letting you roll social things during combat encounters now have a rule that players can point to and say, no, I'm going to roll to influence. And I want to influence, and this is a thing that's written. Mm-hmm. And it also reminds players that you can use your action to influence. You don't have to just stab people. You have your action to influence, and I think that's kind of cool. So
yeah, no, I agree. I think that adding these actions isn't a bad thing, because if you don't want to use them, you don't have to. But by adding those options there, especially for new DMs, it's a great baseline to help like give you toys to play with.
I think it's a great reminder that your turn is 6 seconds and not fucking 3 hours.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Because like I said, I've personally done that. I've personally had like a whole thing.
We were talking about it on Friday. It's like this is a long 6 seconds.
Yeah, I was sitting there listening to 2 people talk for like, it was like 5 minutes, and I'm like, I messaged BHG and I'm like, aren't we still in combat? Like,
That's okay. I have a problem with being like stopping my players when they start riffing.
Oh, that's the thing. The RP is part of it. The good chunk of the reason you're there. I'm the same thing. Like I said, I'll run things sort of like cinematic or even anime style and just be like, all right, a little bit of like social role play thing happens. Combat pauses for a second.
And I find that's, again, we're talking about automation and talking about the VTT. Because we're not sitting at a table, we have less opportunities for that crosstalk. So if it comes up organically, I don't want to shut it down when we have such rare opportunities to get those moments.
Yeah, because you can't do the side RP like you would at a physical table. Not that talking with Adam would know about this, is I don't think you've played at a physical table. We got to get you for a physical game someday.
We're literally all within range where we could have, you know, a small group of us get together and play fucking actual tabletop.
Now that would be fun to stream.
So typical difficulty class looks like that's pretty much the same, like chart.
Yeah.
Armor training is the new name for armor proficiency. So they're changing it to not be considered a proficiency any rule. So it's the existing rules that involved armor proficiency is now armor training. Oh, okay. So if you wear light or medium heavy armor, you lack armor training, you're disadvantaged on D20 checks you make that involve strength or dex and can't cast spells. Okay. And then you equip a shield, lack armor training and shields, you don't get the armor class bonus of the shield. Cool. It's not dramatically different.
But Edwin makes an interesting point in chat here. Renaming armor proficiency to armor training is because it turned out many first-time players often made the error of adding proficiency bonus to AC when they wore armor they were proficient in.
Oh.
Because everywhere else where it mentions proficiency, you add your proficiency bonus.
That's a really good point. Thanks, Edwin. Yeah, no, it makes a hell of a lot more sense now. Makes a hell of a lot more sense. Okay, I like that. Yep. Thank you. Thank you.
Sometimes it's just the power of wording that like certain wording is going to do wonders.
Yeah.
I like that.
No, that makes a hell of a lot more sense. Artisan's tools. Category of tools in which the character can gain tool proficiency. For a list of Artisan's tools, blah, blah, blah. See the player's handbook. Those tools now cost 15 gold a piece. So like, there's just like a standard tools are this expensive now. And that's it. Okay, cool.
I dig that.
Attack. You can make one attack with a weapon or unarmed strike. Equipping weapons. You can equip or unequip one weapon before or after any attack you make as part of this attack action, even if the attack is with an unarmed strike. That's slightly different.
No, that's amazing. Now you don't have to item interaction. You can just pull out both your daggers and stab with them.
Yeah. It's before any attack. So not once per action, before any attack.
Yeah.
So
so you could be like, oh, sword, oh, flail.
Well, you have to still unequip a weapon, though.
Yeah.
It makes note of that there. You can equip or unequip one weapon before.
But if you're willing to drop them on the ground, you can just keep drawing new weapons.
No, but you can equip or unequip one weapon before or after.
Right.
Oh, one weapon. So you have to pick one.
Yeah. So you couldn't, if you equip the sword, you have to unequip the sword and equip.
Okay.
So I don't know what, we're going to have to look and see if it defines what unequip means. Like, can you still free action just drop it? Or is that considered unequipping now?
So like once you equip it, that's it.
And then
I don't know. That's kind of odd.
And then on another attack action, you can like unequip it, but it's still, this allows you to draw multiple weapons, like on
in
attacks.
one.
Yeah, in one.
As part of the attack action.
Yeah.
Catch me fucking just full on hucking longsword so that I can just keep pulling new ones out.
That's another really good point. Throwing axes and stuff like that. You no longer have to worry about how many you could draw. If a fighter goes on and full on action surges with like 3 base attacks and you're getting 6 attacks with like thrown axes, if you've got the axes on you, you can now throw all 6 axes.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So yeah, I like it.
Love it.
It's good.
Love it.
If you move on your turn, you can use some or all movements of this action, such as extra. So that's the same.
Yeah.
Attack roll is one of 3 types. So I'm assuming it's melee range and spell. Arcane spells. Draw from the arcane list for these people. Yeah. Bark skin. Oh, so like they're mixing in these spells with the glossary of other stuff.
Dark skin's just here.
It looks like it's just because some of the spells are being like redone. Looks like bark skin's being redone. It's sort of each target's. Oh, so you're not like changing your armor class anymore. You're getting temporary hit points. So it's not like the druid's mage armor. it's more just you're getting temp hit points.
Oh, I think the reason why they put bark skin here is to give it as an example of an arcane spell. Maybe.
So that's
maybe they noted it somewhere.
That's a bit different. It's a bit different. All right. Oh no, it's a primal spell. It does say it's primal spell in the description there.
Yeah, it's in alphabetical order too. So
blind sight. You can effectively see within a specific range without relying on physical sight. That looks normal. Isn't potential total cover. Even if you're blinded or darkness, you can effectively see a hidden. That's the same basically. Climb speed. Any situation. Some have the spider climb trait, which allows to work even on horizontal surfaces. Okay, cool. Creature types looks to be about the same. D20 tests is basically the three major things: abilities, attacks, and saving throws.
And then here's the change to where if a character rolls a 1.
Yeah, this is what I was bitching about on the last playtest. I'm like, it doesn't make sense to give them a benefit when they roll a 20. They're already succeeding and having a good time. Give it to the people that just fucking failed.
Yep.
And they did it, so they listened to me specifically.
I kind of have well, what is heroic inspiration? Is it just like GM inspiration?
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, they're working in a whole new mechanic where like humans get it like all the time now, and if you like roll a certain thing, you can get it. Like it's a mechanic that's being a lot more used.
So first question is, can I use this inspiration now? Can I re-roll my 1 with this inspiration?
Whenever a player character rolls a 1, in the other playtest, it was confirmed you could on the 20, which made no sense. But on here, I mean, it doesn't say you can't. According to what I'm reading, I can't see why if you roll a 1, why you couldn't use it right away. They really need to word that differently.
So now, I will never roll a nat 1.
Yeah.
First of all. Second thing is now I'm going to farm 1s. I'm going to close my eyes and start swinging at squirrels until I get a 1, and then I'm going to just keep that inspiration until I need it, and then I'm going to do the same thing as soon as I'm out of combat.
They need to reword this to whenever a player character rolls a 1 and then fails the test, because then you've already failed it. You can't change it.
Yeah, but it also doesn't stop. Like, the thing is, crits are great because they double your damage. So what that has caused is a meta where people farm crits with reckless attack and all sorts of things, because crits are really good. So now having a nat 1 be a thing that is good, you're going to create a meta where people are going to create characters that roll 1s.
You can still only have the 1 inspiration.
Yeah, but you still can get that 1 inspiration before every combat. That's an epic boon according to this document.
Yeah. Well, it's
to
just
get
like the roll initiative thing. Like, you go up and say, I'm going to do it, attack a squirrel. The GM's going to like, all right, you don't need to roll. You just hit it.
I scrolled ahead here just so I can read it because Edwin made a note here. When you have heroic inspiration, you can expend it to give yourself advantage on a d20 test. So it's not a reroll. So you wouldn't be able to use it on that 1 result already because it's giving you advantage when you use it on a roll.
So I have to call that I'm using the heroic inspiration before I roll, and I get to roll with advantage.
Yes.
I can't fail a roll and be like, I want to use my heroic inspiration to save that.
No.
That makes it a lot more balanced.
Okay, that makes more sense then.
So you're basically giving them a free advantage.
Yeah.
So you roll you have 2 attacks, you roll a nat 1 on 1, then your next one can be an advantage if you'd like.
I feel like there's some clarification wording they need to write on this.
A player character gains heroic inspiration if the character rolls a 1 for a d20 test. That 1 must be on the d20 used for the test's roll
not on a d20 that was rerolled or discarded. This heroic inspiration represents a character's resolve to do better after fumbling an attempt. The DM can also award heroic inspiration to a player character who's done something that is particularly heroic or in character.
It just sounds like characters are going to be fairly equipped with the inspiration. Like, there's not going to be many times you're going to start a conflict without it these days, especially if you have humans in the party.
What I like about this is the other note that it specifically notes that if you already have an inspiration, you can give it to a player in the group who doesn't have one.
That's nice.
Okay. Yeah, I like this. I still think they need to do some clarification, but I like where it's going.
Again, it's just a little bit troublesome, like you said, with new DMs. If you have people just fishing,
yeah.
Like I want to do a perception check on every single thing I see.
Yeah.
And then just keep rolling till you get a 1, and there you go.
Like any of us, like, we're not going to take our shit from this. We're not going to take shit from our players with this crap. We're just going to be like, no, you're not getting that. Fuck you. But it says, I don't care what it says.
Yeah.
But a new 100%. DM is going to be like, oh, okay, I guess it's in the rules.
Yeah, and again, it kind of creates like an environment where people like, because again, it is a game. You're supposed to kind of like abuse and cheese and do the fun thing, but like it just, I don't know. I'm not huge on that.
I mean, beyond that, does your team want to sit there and watch you try and fucking cheese and like fucking, you know, swing at squirrels to fucking farm this while they've got shit to do?
Yeah.
Is also the question.
It is a group.
Well,
it's group.
Like I said, it would probably
mindful of each other's time.
In a situation with a new DM and whatnot, it'd probably just be like the guy sits there with his D20 and just rolls it over and over again as he's perception checking everywhere every 5 seconds. And then he gets a 1, and then he's like, okay, next encounter I have advantage.
I've played with players like that.
I would politely ask that player to get up from the table, pack up his things, and leave.
So that's the thing, is we've got the experience and the confidence to be like, fuck your shit, go home.
Yeah.
We playtest this. I'm doing that.
I think for
you guys are going to have to ban me from the ONE-DND.
I think for new GMs, they need to clarify the wording for this, though.
100%.
Especially with like more and more new people coming into the hobby, they need to clarify this. So dash is like the same. Difficult terrain is basically the same. Any of the following creature that isn't tiny. Okay, a little bit of a difference here, though. Space is a difficult terrain for a creature. Oh, no, never mind. If a creature that isn't tiny, okay, that's the same. Because it doesn't say hostile, per se. That would stop you. That's all the same for difficult terrain, basically. If anything, they just give some more examples. Divine spells for the religiosity people. Exhaustion. While you're being subject to the exhaustion, I think they've reworked exhaustion. Okay. Levels of exhaustion. It's cumulative. Each time you receive it, you gain a level of exhaustion. You die if your exhaustion is 10, so they did increase it to 10. Yep. Hey, I called it. And it looks like it just affects your D20 rolls. You subtract your exhaustion level from it.
Okay. Yeah, that makes exhaustion a lot more tolerable.
I want them to use the exhaustion mechanic even more now, because this is actually more in line with what I was saying they need to do.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. I like this. I like this change. Just rather than like the random ass bullshit chart that they had for exhaustion. I like this.
And yeah, it affects your spell saves. This is great. Yep. Love it.
I'm personally happy with anything that it means I have less to keep track of.
Mm-hmm.
Taking care of everything else, because you're like, are they at like 3rd level exhaustion? What are they losing there again? Like,
yeah.
The only thing I can see a few people freaking out for is one of the major design tenets in 5th edition when it first launched was everything's going to be positive. There's not going to be any subtractions. And which, I mean, basic math, come on, people, it's not that hard. But at the same time, some people are like, this is going against the design and we're minusing something. But that's the only thing I can see someone complaining about. And really, I mean, if you can go one way, you can go the other with like a +5, -5. It's not that hard.
Yeah, and it's so like umbrella termed. Like you have 1 level of exhaustion, just everything is -1.
Yeah.
Just apply that -1 to everything you roll.
I think
Anything with a D20.
this is a positive change. I like it.
Yeah, I like it.
Expertise is just expertise, but now instead of being like refer to the rogue ability, it's just this is the expertise. Fly speed, you stay aloft, you land while flying. If you are incapacitated or restrained, you fall. If you have the hover trait, then you can stay aloft while incapacitated or restrained. Okay, so hover's like slightly referred differently, where you don't have to like keep moving around if you don't have hover. It's fine. Gaming sets tool, it's fine. Grapple condition. Okay, so they reprinted this from like the first playtest. Speed is 0. You have disadvantage on for grapple got beefed up in that first playtest. Grappling's actually like a thing now. You're not just speed is 0. Disadvantage on attack rolls. You can be dragged or carried. But grapple suffers the slowed condition unless they have that feat. And then to escape, it's a dex or strength saving throw because it's no longer opposed rolls.
And it seems like it's a condition, right? So if I grapple you, you are grappled.
Yeah.
And I am not.
Well,
and that makes things a lot
grapple
more
was
straightforward.
already a condition. It just didn't have as much shit to it.
Oh, it's actually already considered a condition?
Yeah. The grapple condition already exists. All the grapple did before was your speed is 0. That's all it does in current 5th edition. Your grappled condition gives you a speed of 0.
Sorry, just the verbiage here. It says, the grappler can drag or carry you, but the grappler suffers the slowed condition while moving, unless you are tiny or two or more sizes smaller than the target. So, if I am a tiny creature grappling another tiny creature, I can still move my entire distance.
That's right. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
Let's go on. The guidance spell has been changed. Okay. D4, add the number to the check. Turning is once a creature rolls a die for the spell. You can't just continuously slap someone with guidance. Now, that you can't benefit from the spell again until the long rest. You get 1 guidance each, and that's it. None of this. We're adding D4 to every ability check in the rest of the dungeon.
I'm okay with it.
I like adding D4s to ability checks.
So
Every chance I can possibly get.
Help. Choose one of your skill proficiencies. You gain advantage. You give advantage on the next ability check that make with the chosen skill. So it's anyone that can see or hear you. So ability checks, you don't have to. I don't remember if you had to be next to them before it for the ability checks. Must be near enough to the ally to assist verbally or physically. That's fine, whatever. Attack roll, you still have to be within 5 feet, unless you have a class ability that gives you otherwise. Advantage in the next attack roll. I still am surprised, like I run it as a custom house rule, but I'm still surprised there isn't a help action for defense. The next attack roll against you would be at disadvantage. But yeah, still just attack. And then Heroic Inspiration BHG kind of like went through already.
Yeah.
Hidden. I imagine this is going to be pretty close to the same. You aren't surprised. If you're hidden when you roll initiative, you advantage on the roll. I don't remember that being a thing. Tax rolls against that's the same. So the rest of it's about the same. I don't remember getting an advantage on initiative though. Roll.
No, that's new.
Hide action. Try to you make a DC 15 dexterity stealth check. So it's not against they're really doing away with all the opposed rolls, eh? So if you're hiding, it's just DC 15.
So everybody has a passive 15 perception?
I guess. Yeah, well, you're heavily obscured or behind 3/4 cover, which is just like it was before. You have to have cover to hide. You can't hide in the middle of an open room. Yeah, it's just a DC 15 check. That's if it's...
So from goblin to dragon,
It's 15.
Hiding is the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have to roll a 15.
I don't know. I don't think I like that.
I don't like that
I
either.
don't think I like that. I mean,
Especially like
go ahead.
with all the bonuses that rogues get to stealth, rolling a 15 is not hard.
Mm-mm.
So like you're just never gonna fail. You're just always gonna hide, and the dragon's just never gonna see you. And that's weird.
Adam, your earlier point was debunked in the chat.
Oh.
here
Oh, was it?
about like just like making checks until you roll a 1, because in the verbiage here it says that it has to have a chance of meaningful failure.
Yeah, that comes back to the whole, like, the GM gets to decide, like, when you roll initiative, the GM gets to decide if you're going to make the check.
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, it falls back on the DM. So you're gonna have a player rolling a 1, and then the DM's gonna have to step in and have a backbone and take care of the game when the game should just be playable.
I guess get good, son.
Yeah.
Just get good, scrub.
Learn to stand up to your friends.
I'm not sure how I feel about this hide thing. I'm still like, I'm a little floored. It's a flat DC 15.
I do not like that it's a flat DC. I think that can be used in a lot of... Like, if I make a character that has, like... I don't know all the ins and outs, but if I make a character that has a plus 14 to stealth, then I'm always hitting. I can always hide. Just gone. From anything.
Yeah.
The Dragmoth Titan just hides behind a large rock.
Not a
Rolls
fan.
a 15.
I'm not a fan. I feel like if this made it into the final cut, that our games may run this differently.
Yeah, this is...
At least,
I don't like
even
this.
if they don't want to pose rolls, at least adjust the DC based on like their wisdom modifier or something.
I think that like maybe the DC 15 flat would be good to see if you're hidden or not from enemies. But then once you pass that 15, they should be able, like it should be an opposed roll to whatever you rolled. So if you rolled a 28 for your stealth, they have to beat that to be able to see you. Whereas if you rolled a 16, they would have to roll a 16 to be able to see you.
I don't like it either way either. Like when we're talking about high level creatures, but like a zombie should not be able to have a 15 that you have to meet. Like a zombie's not going to notice you hiding him out. Like,
Yeah. It seems
a level 1
odd
character
to have
shouldn't
that
have to
flat
fit.
across the way.
All right, so we'll move on from that train wreck. Incapacitated, can't take actions or reactions, concentration broken, can't speak. That looks like the whole same thing. Here's the influence. Oh, this is a chunky one. Holy shit.
Holy fuck.
Ooh. I like this.
All right, I'm going to
Let's
actually
go.
read some of this shit because it's new and it's long. So with the influence action, you can try to influence another creature to do something you request or demand. This action can be used only on creatures controlled by the DM, and it isn't mind control. You can't force a creature to do something that is counter to the creature's alignment or that is otherwise repugnant to the creature. This action has 3 main parts: attitude, interaction, and a charisma check. This is like a whole other subsystem they're introducing here. Okay. So attitude. A creature's attitude determines how a creature can influence that creature. Or character can influence that creature. Each DM-controlled creature has one of the following attitudes towards the player character. Now, these are, if you've GM'd before, indifferent, friendly, and hostiles, pretty standard shit. It looks like there might be specific rules tied to each one. So, yeah, there's like little flavor stuff and like if you need a charisma check and whatnot for each one. But I mean, indifferent, friendly, hostile, you kind of pick up what's being put down there. Interaction. When you take the influence action, either roleplay how your character interacts with the creature or describe your character's behavior, focusing on your character's request or demand. If the interaction is especially suited to the creature's desires and outlook, the DM might grant advantage to your subsequent check or might temporarily shift a hostile creature to indifferent or indifferent, or an indifferent creature to friendly. Similarly, if the interaction is particularly irksome to the creature, the DM might impose disadvantage on the check, blah, 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 blah. So then the ability check. To determine whether your request or demand is successful, you make a charisma check, or animal handling, deception, intimidation, or persuasion. So really they're just kind of giving a name to what we're already doing with these skill checks.
Yeah.
And then just setting some DCs depending on their status towards you. Really, this is what we're already doing this. They're just giving it an official, action name.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I like.
So it clarifies it. Once again, for GMs that have been doing this a while, whatever, no biggie. But for newer GMs, people just getting into this that need that baseline, I like it. It's good. Invisibles, probably going to be the same shit, different day. Yeah. Jump. So it's about the same. I think they're just rewording it. Attempt to leap more than 5 feet. You must make a DC if you don't move at least 10 feet before the action. You have disadvantage. If you fail, you leap 5 feet horizontally or vertically. Oh, never mind. Did they nerf the amount you can jump?
They made jumping an action?
A jump was an action. Oh no, jumping was part of your movement before.
Jumping was part of your movement.
Yeah. And you could jump further than that.
Sorry, just not. I want to go back for just a second.
Yeah.
For that influence.
Yeah.
Again, a note from the chat here. The applicable skill depends on the interaction, with animal handling being reserved for beasts and monstrosities.
Yeah, well, I mean, we kind of figured that. I glossed over it. I mean, you're not going to use animal handling for the barmaid unless you're really talking down to her.
No, but if it's just beasts or monstrosities, that means you can't use animal handling on a young dragon.
I would assume not, because they're intelligent creatures, right?
Yeah. Dragons would be persuaded. They're not animals.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like a monstrosity, I get that would animal handling for sure, because it's not rational. It's not intelligent. It's just a monster.
And like anything that is in a game this complex, there's always going to be exceptions to the rule.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. So jump. You can only jump 5 feet. On a failed check, you leap. Oh, on a successful check, the check's total determines the distance in feet that you can clear horizontally, or half that if you're this. Oh, okay. You attempt to leap more than 5 feet, so you make a strength check, and if you make it, you can jump a number of feet equal to what you rolled. That's different. And you can still jump that even if you don't move the 10 feet, but you now have disadvantage on the check. Whereas before you had to get a running start if you wanted any sort of distance.
It takes your action?
And it takes your full action. So it's very different than it used to be.
Monks will definitely be getting jump as a bonus action.
Oh yeah, I imagine that the step of the wind or whatever it was called there, it's got to be part of it.
I personally have a barbarian who has boots of leaping, and they did math and looked at things and realized he can jump 25 feet in the air.
Yep, I can believe it.
And this would completely nerf him, and I don't know how I feel about that. Because
we'll see what it's fully backwards compatible, right? But we'll see on the reprints if new boots of jumping might just add on to the check or something.
True.
Or the total, or who knows. Yeah, we'll see. So it's weird that it's a full action. I don't know if that's the part I'm not sure that I like.
Yeah.
I'm going to jump this turn, and that's it. I'm not going to do this jump off of my buddy's back and come down on an axe and swipe him in the face. No, none of that. That's too exciting.
And you can't influence anybody either while you're jumping. Don't you try to talk to somebody while you're jumping.
Yeah. No, I'm not.
Is that a hand crossbow I see? You want to go to jail, man?
Like,
But again, it kind of makes sense because what are you going to say? Well, you've already decided you're jumping. Usually, when you're jumping or doing something like that, you're like, ah! You have 6 seconds. You have 6 seconds. What are you saying within that 6 seconds while you're jumping? Aside from like maybe like I'm going to kill you.
I have explosive diarrhea and you better get the fuck out of here.
so
I
light,
have explosive diarrhea and you better get the fuck out of here. That was less than 6 seconds. Come on.
light weapons about the same. Looking it over. Long rest, I'm already seeing a little bit of difference. So, okay, you regain all your hit points. Cool. You regain all of your hit dice, not half.
Nice.
So, you just gain all of your hit dice back. So, like, short rests are more of a thing now, even.
That's how I've been running it, is I just give them all their hit dice back.
Okay. Ability scores restored. There's not many things that lessen your ability scores in the game. There's a couple, but there's not very many. And they did specify you cannot benefit from more than one long rest in a 24-hour period. And you must have at least one hit point at the start of the rest to gain its benefits.
Nice.
And then, of course, interrupting the rest is pretty much the same. When you take the magic action, so they've reworded this differently. Okay, so you cast a spell that has a casting time of an action, or you use a magic item that requires an action to be activated. So they've like combined these into the magic action.
Did you read light weapon?
It looked like it was about the same.
No, they changed it. Your offhand is no longer a bonus action. You can just use it as an extra attack.
What?
You have 2 light weapons.
Oh, I missed that. I'm sorry, I missed that. Yeah, you just get a free attack with light weapons, with a light weapon. It's just like it was before, but it's not a bonus action anymore. Thank you for catching that. Yeah, I missed that bit.
Thank Edwin. He's on the ball.
He is on the ball. He is on the ball.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Edwin.
Yeah, you've been
Okay.
been keeping us on our toes for this document.
Light weapons a little beefier then. I like that. So, and then casting time of 1 minute or longer, you must make the magic action on each turn of that casting and maintain concentration while doing so. I mean, we kind of did this already, but they're like spelling it out for you. You got to concentrate while casting the spell, or the spell fails.
Yeah, makes sense.
Move. When you move, you can go distance equal to your speed or less. You can break up your move, moving around other creatures. You can pass through the space of an ally, incapacitated creature, or tiny creature, or 2 sizes larger or smaller than you. That's the same as it was before. Another creature's space is difficult terrain for you, unless that creature is tiny. That is the same as it was before. Can't willingly end your move. Yeah, you can't phase into somebody. Climb or swim should be doubled. It is. Special speeds. If you have more than 1 speed, choose which one to use. Not both. If you take more than 1 move on a turn, you can have more than 1 speed. That's about the same, actually. Speed of 0. It's about the same. Musical instrument being a tool. Cool. Primal spells. Are primal spells. Ritual casting. Cast it as a ritual. And then they're using the standard player's handbooks for that. Cool. Search action. This one's new. When you take the search action, you make a wisdom check to discern something that isn't obvious. And then they get the table below to suggest what it is. Insight, medicine, perception, or survival.
Okay.
So, investigation's not in the list.
No more insight into statues? Damn.
Oh, that guy. That guy. It's like, can I get some information about the statue? Yeah, roll an insight on the statue. I'm like, okay. That was the same guy that had like the tokens, like the shark was 2.7 squares long by like 1.3. Like, all right, well, this is going to make real difficult for measuring my spells. Cool.
And all the maps look like they were drawn by a toddler.
Short sword's a simple weapon now. That's nice. It used to be like that in previous editions too, so.
Where's the hand crossbow?
Where the fuck is the hand crossbow?
Yeah, we passed H, wizards.
You're getting mad now.
Slowed. So, double movement. Attacks against you have advantage. You have disadvantage on dex saves. Here's the study action. So, not too chunky. When you take the study action, you make an intelligence check to study your memory. A book, a creature, a clue, an object, or another source of... Oh, this is where investigation comes in. The areas of knowledge table suggest which skills are applicable when you take this action. I like that they're defining these things a little bit better for this.
Yeah.
Because there's been many
really
times where it's been really haphazard, especially between investigation and perception. Like, too many times, like, there are times that they're obviously separate. And then there are times they're like, I don't know. This very, very clearly differentiates between them and all the other things. I think this is good. Just, it's verbiage. It's just good shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Swim speed, same thing. Cool. Tool proficiency. You can add that proficiency to any ability check, so it's just like it was before. Wait, maybe not. If you have proficiency in the skill used with that check, you have advantage on that check too, which means you can benefit from both the skill and tool proficiency of the same ability check.
Oh. So wait. So if you have sleight of hand and thieves' tools, you get advantage on your thieves' tools check?
Yeah.
I think so?
So that takes care of your expertise.
In Thieves.
Oh, that's why there's no expertise in thieves' tools anymore, because you're adding that on. See.
Because you're good at the tools and you're good at the sleight of hand, so you're just fucking great at it, so you get advantage, dog. I like it.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Whoa. Rogues are going to get real chonky with some of their like tool-based stuff now. Teleportation. Did they say this for a reason? Doesn't expend movement, never provokes. When you teleport, all equipment you're wearing carrying teleports with you. If you're touching another creature when you teleport, that creature doesn't teleport with you unless it says otherwise. If the destination is blocked, you instead appear near the nearest unoccupied space of your choice. So none of the like damage and then get shunted. The description of a teleportation tells you if you must see the destination.
If I can't damage them for it, I'm still gonna make something like you taste the color purple for like just a couple seconds.
Yeah. Tremor sense is basically the same. I'm not sure why it's listed here, but it's basically the same. Unarmed strike is a melee attack. This was in the previous one too. Let's see if they've changed it from the previous playtest. Strength based. Your target takes damage equal to 1 plus your strength modifier, or you could grapple with it. And these are things everyone can do. So grappling is this is how you do grappling now. It's not an opposed check. So 8 strength proficiency. So which is the equivalent? It's the equivalent of always being trained in athletics, sort of, for the DC. So it's 8. Cool. Or you can shove.
Sweet fuck. We made it to the end.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Fuck yeah. Oh. What a journey.
That took
Final
longer than I thought. Fuck.
I'm underwhelmed by the classes and subclasses compared to the 5e classes and subclasses for the most part. Ranger got a nice boost up to level 16, and then they shat all over his dreams again. I like the emphasis on terminology, especially regarding new players, because as he said, there is a huge influx of new players now, and I think it's getting a lot harder to have those definitions when people are leaping into it with the supplements that we have now.
Yeah. I guess my final thoughts are all of it is okay. The verbiage is really nice. I like some of the stuff that they're doing. I don't like some of the other things, but the main thing that I'm enjoying is the fact that this is like the second thing that they've put out, and they're planning on doing it constantly until like 2024, until we have a game that we all as a community like.
Yeah.
And that is something that's super fucking cool. Like, just super, like, for a company to do and to be a part of and to read about and to think about. It's all awesome stuff, and I'm excited to see in a year and a half at what it's going to look like, you know?
Mhm. Although, on that point, they should have been doing this the whole time.
Yes, 100%.
As someone that has been through every edition of D&D at one point or another, and has gone through, or has played every edition, and has gone through many edition changes over the years, the decades, as an old man, that I don't know if I like change, but you know what, I actually do like change. And in this case, this is the smoothest transition, the smoothest update. There are some things I don't like, but that's why they do these documents, and they've already proven that they're listening to their audience. I'm liking the way this is going. I do like a lot of the changes. They're for the better. They're thinking about ease of use. They're thinking about how to streamline it. Aside from like some little finagly details that, you know, we joke about like hating, which is because we hate them. We hate them, wizards. We hate them. Everything else is very, very smooth, and the fact that you're listening to people is a really big deal. So listen to us now. These rules are going in the right direction, and if you ever write anything like the Spelljammer books or Strixhaven books again, we're going to punch you in the face.
For anybody watching this, that being said, get over to Twitter and hashtag justice for hand crossbows.
Justice for hand crossbows. When I make my YouTube video about like this video, it's all going to be about hand crossbows.
Yeah.
I need hand crossbows. Every time
Yeah.
somebody mentions the hand crossbow, just have it appear on the screen.
Yeah.
We need to subliminally get people on the hand crossbow train.
Yeah. They're not doing away with them.
Yeah, hand crossbows and that level 18 ability for which class is it? Ranger?
Ranger.
Oh my god.
Justice for
They get a
Ranger.
D10
Oh,
for their hunter's mark.
Yeah, it goes up 0 to 4 points on their hunter's mark for their 18th level capstone. No.
We need to find that wizard's employee and just find out why.
They should have given them the best capstone and just said you gain a hand crossbow.
Yeah. Level 18 Ranger, only class that can get a hand crossbow. Proficiency in hand crossbows.
Because like they mentioned so many other weapons here as being like this is a simple weapon now, stuff like that. No mention of the hand crossbow. So that's our thing we're sticking on, I guess. But yeah, no, I would say as someone that's gone through like so very many editions of D&D and other games and everything like that, I'm kind of hopeful. I mean, it's still a corporation. I have my reservations. But I'm kind of hopeful in the way that they're going. This is, I wish so many more other games or content of any kind went through a system like this, because like we're helping to shape it. And even though we'll know most of the rules by the end of this, if this is this good, I'll buy the book. I'll buy another player's handbook. I'll go for it. 100%. So yeah, I think it's good direction. That's my final.
That was a journey and a half, boys. I feel like I came into this a young lad, and I'm leaving a grizzled man. This is...
It's been 96 years.
Yeah, and we have to go back to streaming again in like
2 hours.
2 hours. So
I got leftover spaghetti.
I made curry last night just so I'd have curry for today for all of my meals.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
We do it.
So yeah, I guess we should end this so we can have a little bit of a break before we go back to this shit.
Yeah, honestly, thanks to everybody who tuned in. Edwin, you were a valuable resource. And if you have like a stream or something, thank you for the follow there. Yeah, Edwin, if you have a stream or something that we can throw in the comments for the YouTube channel, please get at me or KedHup or Talking with Adam in a private Twitch message, and
Yeah.
we will add those links to our respective pages, because you have been a valuable resource in keeping our eyes on the little details that we were skimming over. And I think, yeah, with your insight as well, in regard to this, it was a much more enhanced experience. So thank you.
And if you want to hang out with us tonight, we are going to be doing episode 2 of our Windermere Fantasy Online our game campaign, which is over on, I actually stream just on YouTube right now, not on Twitch. So it'll be on youtube.com/kedhup if you want to hang out with us tonight in just a couple of hours.
Yeah, if you scroll down just a little bit, you're going to see that there is a list of a bunch of names of people who stream and all of their links, and Ket, I think, is at the top of that list. So you can go ahead, check him out on YouTube. Tonight, we're all going to be there and destroying shit with canoes. So you'll have to tune in to figure out what that means.
Portage!
Portage!
Fucking Emmett, dude. Let's go.
When I share this YouTube video on Twitch, I'm definitely #justice for hand crossbows. So
Yeah.
let's get that fucking.
All three of us.
Like I said, when I make a YouTube video about this and post clips from here, it's gonna be all about the hand crossbows, the real crime of D&D 1.
We need to get it trending.
Oh, from the Netherlands. Oh, well, thanks for coming over on the late times there and hanging out with a bunch of the Canucks, the Canadians.
Yeah, just Canadian things.
Just Canadian things.
We're gonna do it. We'll raid out. Let's raid out to Extreme Puffindale, because I haven't seen him in a while. I have a shirt.
Yeah.
Of his.
I guess I can stop my recording.